guess I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Jam?
Man, I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bomb of the Month tour.
Bomb of the Month? I would have been a bomb compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
What's happening, everybody? Cass Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right, you know what time it is. If it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Story bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Salute to Miss Cass. She's the wind beneath these sails. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Box Storian. Today, classic boxing rivalries. Moore Charles, Duran-De Jesus, Chacon-Limon, Morales-Barrera. Classic boxing rivalries. How's the family today? It's Wednesday. This is the Hump Day edition. We're going to talk about 4 classic boxing rivalries today. Roberto Duran versus Esteban de Jesus, that classic trilogy they had. Another classic trilogy, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore, Barbara Chacon, Bazooka Limon had a tetralogy. We're going to talk about that classic 4-fight series they had. And then finally, Eric Morales and Marco-Antonio-Barrera. We're going to take a look at all four of those trilogies today. And Moniettes is in the building. Salute, Moniettes. How are you today? Classic boxing trilogies. So let's get into it. We got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. So now, without further ado, today's fight of the day. Today's fight of the day is Julio Cesar Chavez versus Greg Hargan, February 20th, 1993. JCC defends title and country. JCC defends title and country. Let's talk about it. When referee Joe Cortez finally stepped in and stopped Chavez versus Hargan, even a loser must have felt like things were in their right place. Hargan had taken on the role of villain with Chavez years before the fight even took place. And for the two fighters and the record-setting crowd in Mexico City, there was somehow more on the line than just the WBC super lightweight title. If Hargan had beaten Chavez, it would have only put more poison in the veins. The bad guy just has to get his due in the end. Not only for us, but for him too, to humble him and give him a chance at redemption. Greg Hargan got his start in Nevada, fighting in bars, tough man competitions. He'd take on guys sometimes 70 pounds heavier, knocked them all down. In the bar, the attitude played well. The women loved it, and it psyched out those big guys. They couldn't figure out why the little guy was talking so much, why he wasn't scared. But pro boxing is an entire different world. And the men you meet aren't always as forgiving as the guys in the Nevada bars, the brawlers, who crack each other's skulls and then have a drink together afterwards. In Las Vegas around 1990, Hargan watches a proud Mexican fighter training for an upcoming fight. Hargan tells the fighter, the guys he's sparring with are nothing but little girls with dresses on. Hargan says he sparred with him for free, help him out, teach him something. The fighter he's talking to is Julio Cesar Chavez, otherwise known as the Lion of Culiacan. He's undefeated, a world champion. And Hargan's brash words don't sit very well with him. When asked about Hargan later, Chavez remembered, I hated him from that moment on. A few years passed, and now Hargan is one of the top-ranked fighters in the WBC, and he's locked in to fight Chavez for the title. When asked if he's intimidated by the champion's perfect 82-0 record, Hargan gives a cocky smile. The way I see it, he says, 60 of those 82 guys he fought were just Tijuana cab drivers that my mother could have knocked out. I'm not taking him lightly, but I'm not taking him as unbeatable either. Does Hargan have any misgivings about the fight taking place in Mexico City in front of 130,000 of Chavez's countrymen? There ain't 130,000 Mexicans that can afford to buy a ticket, cracks Hargan. Now, Chavez loves his country. In 1987, the Puerto Rican champion, Evan Rosario, made some disparaging comments about the Mexican people and even stated he would send Chavez back home in a coffin. Chavez put a merciless beatdown on Rosario that ended with a TKO in round 11, and Rosario was never quite the same. When he hears Hargan's comments, Chavez once again has the fire burning. I really hate him bad, Chavez says. When he looks at me, I want to vomit. I am going to give him the worst beating of his life. I'm going to make him eat every word that came out of his dirty mouth. February 20th, 1993, Azteca Stadium, Mexico City. Attendance is estimated at 136,000, making it the largest paying crowd for a fight ever, anywhere. The stadium pulses, bodies moving together in waves. Thousands of police circulate with Uzis, vicious dogs. In the center of the stadium, around the ring, is a wide moat, fenced with barbed wire. Hargan enters to Springsteen's Born in the USA and carrying the American flag. Ripples in the stadium, the crowd seizing with boos. Referee Joe Cortez brings the fighters to the center of the ring. Chavez refuses to touch gloves, and the crowd roars in approval. The bell rings. Chavez's engine starts to whir. He lets Hargan get a couple jabs off before smashing the American with a straight right. Then clack, clack, two more rifle shot rights straight down the pike. And Hargan is on the canvas just 25 seconds into the fight. The crowd booming, Mexico, Julio, Mexico, Julio. Hargan takes some more from Chavez before the round ends, and Hargan staggers back to his corner with blood pouring from his nose. And this is just the end of the first round. Blood already pouring from Hargan's nose. The next two rounds, Chavez works on Hargan's body, slamming him in the gut, even sending some shots south of the border for good measure. This is a schoolyard. This is a lesson. The ref doesn't see or doesn't say. The fourth round is much of the same. Hargan simply can't compete with the power and relentless aggression of Chavez. He tries to keep Chavez at a distance, but when he does, he's forced to eat a steady diet of straight right hands. Fifth round, big round for Chavez. That straight right again and again and again. And Hargan is on the ropes. Does he know it's coming? In some strange way, does he want it to come? 130,000 people around him calling for his blood. Would it not feel sickly satisfying to give it to them? Julio is playing with him now, walking him around the ring, staying at the perfect distance to keep landing the straight right. Hargan is dazed, fading. Julio moves in with a combo that works both the body and head, and Hargan is on the canvas again. He gets up, but he isn't throwing punches anymore. Chavez just dishing out the punishment, speaking to Hargan with his fists. making him answer for all the insults he delivered before the fight. Referee Joe Cortez finally steps in and stops the slaughter, and the crowd erupts. It's beautiful. It's storybook. Chavez, El Gran Campeón de Mexico, successfully defends himself and his country against the disrespectful America. It couldn't have gone any other way. It's the only ending. And of the Tijuana cab drivers Hawkins talked about before the fight, after the fight, Hawkins simply said, they must have been tough cab drivers. There you have it, the fight of the day. Julio Cesar Chavez versus Greg Hawkins. JCC defends title and country. And Hawkins said they must have been tough cab drivers. Okay, today we're going to cover 4 classic boxing rivalries. We're going to start out with Roberto Duran and Esteban de Jesus. Okay, that's going to be first. Classic boxing rivalries. Okay, how's everybody? That's this is the Hump Day edition of Cass Sports the Box Historian. How's everybody this Wednesday afternoon? Appreciate the people that's in the building supporting so far. Hope you stick around and enjoy the show. Taking a look at 4 boxing rivalries today. We're going to start out with Roberto Duran versus Esteban de Jesus. They had a classic trilogy. All fights took place during the 70s. Duran versus de Jesus, a rivalry in 3 chapters. The story of boxing is the story of rivalries, and rivalries themselves are stories. During the contentious years of Hitler in World War II, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling made boxing history as representatives of 2 very different societies. Later, Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson thrilled sports fans with a rivalry that stretched over 9 years and 6 fights and helped usher in the television era when their final battle, the famous St. Valentine's Day Massacre, was watched in living rooms all across America. Decades later, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, in perhaps the most intense rivalry ever, highlighted racial and political conflict during one of the most difficult periods in American history. Who will ever forget that one? Ali Frazier, the granddaddy of them all when you're talking about rivalries. But some rivalries are characterized less by politics and more by national pride. Boxing has long been enriched by the territory south of the American border and the fiercely proud pugilists from Latin American nations. There, the young men who fought their way to the top of the fistic landscape often found themselves the new folk heroes of the impoverished countries that reared them. Thus, whenever they competed, they no longer did it for themselves, but also for their nation and their people. Panamanian Roberto Duran and Puerto Rican Esteban de Jesus found themselves embroiled in one of boxing's great rivalries. Over the course of 5 years, these 2 proud Latino legends faced off on 3 occasions. Each fight is memorable for its ferocity and for how it impacted each man's career. But the rivalry would ultimately be defined as much by what happened outside the ring as by the punches they exchanged inside. Chapter 1. This is a rivalry in 3 chapters. Chapter 1. Roberto Duran began his career in February of 1968, a fluid, aggressive lightweight who packed a big punch. Roberto quickly whipped up domestic support on his way to receiving a world title shot. By the time he fought Ken Buchanan in Madison Square Garden for the world title in 1972, he boasted an impressive record of 25 knockouts and 29 wins with no losses. After 13 violent rounds of rugged infighting, Duran emerged as the new lightweight champion of the world. Esteban de Jesus was born and raised in the town of Carolina, and Carolina was just as famous for its penchant for violence and crime as it was for being the birthplace of Roberto Clemente, famous Major League Baseball player. De Jesus saw action professionally for the first time a year after Duran, and was then rattled off 26 straight wins before he ran into Antonio Gomez. Gomez, the WBA featherweight champion at the time, was too steep a step up in competition for the talented Puerto Rican. In the aftermath of the Buchanan fight, times were good for Duran, and Roberto found himself arguably Panama's most famous man. The fame and money attached with that level of celebrity ironically comes with a heavy price. Roberto was surrounded by those more interested in the spoils than the hard work it took to attain them, and these distractions proved costly. Perhaps aware that their fighter needed some time to adjust to all this, Duran's handlers looked to protect their investment. A title fight was put aside for the time being, the official reason given that Duran intended his first defense to take place in his home country of Panama, and instead he took a series of tune-up fights in the country. In September and October, he recorded back-to-back first-round knockouts, and talk turned to who would become his next victim. This time back in America, Esteban de Jesus was a reasonable choice, as his Puerto Rican roots built up a decent fan base for a moneymaker fight in New York City. De Jesus has just recorded a win in the Garden some 4 months earlier. But then disaster struck, and Duran risked not just the upcoming fight, but also his life. Driving up a hillside in his homeland, Roberto veered off-road. The resulting injuries, while not severe, should have postponed the fight. Duran suffered lacerations to his lips that required stitches, as well as an elbow injury. Customary to the Duran mythos, he shrugged it off, had a few drinks, and then made the trek to America for the fight. Mike Grimm in the building. What's up, Mike Grimm? Classic boxing rivalries today, Mike. Starting out with Roberto Duran versus Esteban Jesus. Looking at their classic rivalry on Fight One Now, Chapter 1. Salute, Mike Grimm. Yeah, Roberto had a terrible accident down there, but he shook it off. Came to the United States for the first fight against De Jesus. Now, the first Duran versus De Jesus clash took place on November 17th, 1972. The 10-round non-title fight would be the headliner for a Garden card that also featured future Duran opponent, Villamar Fernandez. What the crowd of 10,000 saw next would be history in the making and the catalyst for one of the greatest feuds in lightweight division history. Before the opening bell, Attention was given to the featured guests of the night. Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler were called into the ring. The two boxing greats barely got back to their seats when the fireworks first went off. At less than 30 seconds into the fight, DeJesus landed a perfectly timed left hook. For the first time in his career, Duran's backside touched the canvas. Roberto was up at the count of 6, both embarrassed and hurt, and the damage was done. He never fully recovered from the shock of that first knockdown. In the rounds that followed, the typically active and aggressive Duran appears flat-footed and disinterested, either unable or unwilling to fully commit to the offensive onslaught he was known for, while DeJesus took control of the fight. When the final bell rang, everyone, including Duran, appeared to know the outcome, and Roberto retreated to his corner in disgust. The scores rendered by judges Harold Letterman and Bill Recchi fell in line with that of referee Arthur Mercante, all for DeJesus. Roberto Duran had suffered his first pro defeat. Okay, Chapter 2. Now, the time following their first defeat served both men well. The two went on a tear. They combined for a sterling record of 18 wins with no losses or draws and 11 knockouts. Duran defended his title 3 times against top contenders Jimmy Robertson, Hector Thompson, and Gus Ishimatsu. The first fight with DeJesus was a non-title affair, so Duran was still champion. Just as impressive was the streak for DeJesus. Attempting to squash rumors he was a flash in the pan, Esteban recorded credible victories over Alfonso Peppermint Frazier and Ray Lampkin. But it was inevitable, with the road the two men were on, that their paths would cross once again. Finally, on March 16, 1974, they met in front of a rabid crowd in Panama City, Panama. Duran, using his champion's advantage, was able to secure the location and the lion's share of the purse. Esteban would have to confront Roberto on the champion's home turf, which, during the month of March, was excruciatingly hot and humid. Roberto Duran stepped into the ring that night with the full intentions of erasing the memory of his first defeat from everyone's mind. This time, there would be no partying, no late-night debauchery, or suspicious automobile accidents. The Duran that entered the ring that night appeared in terrific shape, strong as a bull, but also as agile as a panther. But then it happened again. Roberto, attacking in the opening round, left himself open, and Esteban came over the top with his old friend, the left hook. The same punch that shook up the world in Madison Square Garden struck a second time, and again, Duran hit the canvas. The Panamanian constituency sprung from their seats aghast. Not again. Was all of the pre-fight talk no more than hype? Will we see the smooth Puerto Rican box its way to another comfortable decision? It's like he dropped Roberto in the first fight. Esteban did it again in the second fight, this time in Panama. And the crowd came to their feet. Oh no, not again. But instead of marking DeJesus' superiority, the knockdown this time sparked a fire in Duran. In the first fight in 1972, Roberto had risen only to compete without zeal, to retire himself from any chance for victory. This time he rose and attacked with fury. With the first round over, Roberto assumed more and more control, and the third round was essentially Esteban's last stand. Finding himself in a vicious firefight, the challenger never backed down, but he was decidedly outgunned. In round 7, Duran put together a stinging volley of punches, and a hurt De Jesus crumpled after a powerful overhand right. De Jesus had more to give, though, and Duran obliged. But the full force of Roberto's attack was simply too much for De Jesus, who took more and more time to answer the bell at the start of each round. By the 10th, the end appeared inevitable and was, in a sense, welcome. The following round saw Duran decked and exhausted and brutalized De Jesus, who just barely beat the count before the referee wisely stopped the fight. Okay, chapter 3. Roberto evens it up 1-1. Let's go to the third and final fight in the trilogy. Chapter 3. No one is ever satisfied with a split. 1-1. Imagine if Ali and Frazier had decided enough was enough after their second fight in 1974. Or if Rocky Graciano had said to Tony Zale after winning their second fight, we each got a win. How about we leave it at that? The story isn't over until a final chapter is written. The third and final meeting of Roberto Duran and Esteban De Jesus took place in January of 1978, almost 4 years since their second fight in Panama. The time between had been profitable for both men. Now, each held a claim to the World Lightweight Championship, which meant a third fight was keenly anticipated. The stakes even higher. The fight would decide once and for all, not only who was the better fighter, but who was the true champion at 135. Because at that time, in 1978, 2 belts was undisputed, okay? WBA, WBC, and they each had one. So whoever won this fight was the undisputed lightweight champion, not just the winner of their 3-fight trilogy, okay? So a lot on the line in this third fight. Mike Massett. Salute, Mike. How are you today? Classic boxing rivalries. Working our way through Roberto Duran and Esteban De Jesus. We're on to fight number 3 now. There's a shot of Esteban. And this fight would decide the winner of the series and the undisputed champion at 135. Now, following the loss to Duran in 74, De Jesus regrouped, and in 1975, he received a chance at Antonio Cervantes' super lightweight title. Knocked down 3 times, Esteban dropped a 15-round decision to Colombia's legendary Kid Pambele. But the Puerto Rican's skills and heart were not to be denied again. Several knockout wins set up another shot at a championship, and knowing such chances were not unlimited, Esteban made sure the third time was indeed the charm. In front of his compatriots in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, De Jesus outworked WBC lightweight champion Guts Ishimatsu over the course of 15 rounds to finally realize his dream and become a world champion. Esteban wasted no time resting on his laurels. Within a year, he had defended his title belt with 3 stoppage wins. During the same time, Roberto Duran had taken his game to an entire other level. Now, this time between the 2 De Jesus fights, 74 to 78, this is when Roberto Duran became the hands of stone. Between 74 and 78, between the 2 De Jesus fights, okay? Cheering through all challenges put in front of him, Duran was now viewed by many as pound for pound the best boxer in the world. The numbers from this period speak for themselves. Roberto entered the ring 20 times, and he exited the winner 20 times, with only 5 opponents surviving to hit a final bell. In that same span, Duran produced 7 successful title defenses, 6 by knockout. And the question being asked by boxing historians was not whether Roberto Duran deserved to be regarded as a great champion, but whether or not he was the best lightweight champion of all time. That's Esteban and Itsumatsu when Esteban got his title. Yeah, Duran went through that 4-year stretch, 74 to 78. That's when he became the hands of stone, and the historians start asking, was he the best lightweight of all time at that point? But while virtually all agreed that Roberto Duran was the best lightweight in the world, there was one little problem to this claim. Another man held a version of the lightweight title. And this man also happened to be the same man who was the only fighter to ever defeat Roberto Duran as a pro. Okay? So stop the presses. You cannot declare Roberto the best yet, because the other man with the title was the only man to ever defeat him. Okay? So the stage was now set for Roberto Duran and Esteban de Jesus to meet a final time, with the winner emerging as the unified and undisputed world champion at lightweight, as well as the victor of their trilogy. Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas played host to Duran versus de Jesus 3. And due to the magnitude of the event, it was broadcast on live national television. The stakes were higher than ever, and the participants were primed and ready. The stakes were higher than ever, and the 2 participants were primed and ready. Roberto had obviously seen a pattern emerge from the first 2 fights against de Jesus. And this time, he was cautious of Esteban's fast start. Because remember, Roberto had went down both first 2 rounds in the first 2 fights. Okay? So during the first round, Roberto switched gears and used his underappreciated technical skills. Duran's constant head movement and brilliant footwork came to the fore. His powerful combinations, artfully put together behind an effective jab. Yeah, Roberto didn't come in like the first 2 fights using that aggression. Excellent boxer, but he was so aggressive, his boxing skills are very underrated. But in that 3rd fight, he started out using his boxing skills, because he didn't want to run into that left hook of de Jesus again, right? Now, weathering de Jesus' initial onslaught through the first few rounds, Duran soon brought the pressure and the heavy artillery to bear. The ever-confident Esteban at first laughed off his opponent's efforts, but a graver mistake could not have been made. For the next 20 minutes, Duran never let up, and de Jesus could not fend off his oppressor. Esteban just couldn't hang with Roberto. In round 12, an over-anxious de Jesus left himself open as he attempted to throw a right hand, an error that proved disastrous as Duran beat him to the punch and scored with a perfect right of his own that sent de Jesus crashing to the canvas. He rose with difficulty, but Duran had always been an expert finisher. A series of heavy blows hammered Esteban down again as his corner stopped the fight. The 3rd and final fight was over. Roberto Duran reigned supreme. So Roberto wins the trilogy 2-1 and becomes the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Now, the trilogy with de Jesus ended Duran's terrorizing reign at lightweight. He now looked to campaign at welterweight, eager to win another championship and huge paydays with some of boxing's biggest stars. The professional careers of Duran and de Jesus never crossed again. In June of 1980, Duran secured the biggest win of his career when he dethroned welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard. The following month, DeJesus had his own big opportunity when he challenged former Duran opponent Saul Manby for a super lightweight world title. Esteban felled the Manby by TKO in round 13 in a one-sided contest. It would prove to be his final fight. Esteban's last fight. But then, you know what happened? Just a few months later, on November 25th, 1980, Duran shocked the world once again, this time in a manner none thought possible. In a rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran muttered two words that would haunt him for the rest of his life: no mas. He turned his back and quit, a humiliating defeat, especially for a macho warrior like Roberto Duran. Surrendering so abruptly and easily completely violated the code of the Latin fighter, was tantamount to a crime, and many of Roberto's loyal fans turned on him with a vengeance. It would be years before he could restore his reputation with a glorious comeback win in the same building where he had won his first world title and where he had first battled Esteban DeJesus. Yeah, it took Roberto a couple years to recover from that no mas situation. Yes, he did. Meanwhile, Esteban DeJesus soon found himself involved in a crime far more serious. The former champion had become addicted to drugs, and while in the grips of a cocaine binge, he murdered a man. His trial and subsequent sentence to life in prison became one of the most scandalous events in Puerto Rican history. And that's probably why Esteban ain't in the Hall of Fame. But I don't think they should have held that against him, but that's probably why he's not in there. But he murdered the man, and his trial and subsequent sentence to life in prison became one of the most scandalous events in Puerto Rican history. Never before had a figure of such renown and esteem crashed so quickly and disgraced himself in such a sudden and violent fashion. But the worst was yet to come. In prison, Esteban worked to reform himself, finding solace in religion and becoming a model prisoner. But in 1985, his older brother, with whom Esteban had shared needles in years past when both were using heroin and cocaine, died of AIDS. Soon after, Esteban tested positive for the virus, and eventually the symptoms began to appear. It was soon evident that the former champion had little time left to live. In a rare moment of mercy, the Puerto Rican government commuted Esteban's sentence to house arrest so he could spend his final days among family and friends. Roberto Duran was one of the most passionate fighters in history, and despite the no mas debacle, he typified the Latino definition of macho. A fiery temper, coupled with his disdain for Esteban, led to one of the fiercest rivalries in Latino boxing history, and a hatred between Duran and the people of Puerto Rico. Roberto never missed the opportunity to disparage the entire state. The sentiment was returned as Puerto Rico hated Roberto Duran with a passion. But upon hearing of the fragile state of his former rival, Roberto traveled to Puerto Rico to share one last confrontation with his old foe. And this final encounter defined their rivalry more than any boxing event ever could. Upon witnessing the state of his disease-ridden adversary, Roberto put aside all fear and embraced DeJesus. At the time, AIDS was a largely misunderstood disease. Some feared it could be spread through just touching. But Duran ignored such worries. He held and kissed his old friend and even told his daughter to do likewise. The heart of the proud Panamanian proved just as strong as his legendary punching power, and the ramifications were immediate. the media, and most importantly, the people of Puerto Rico saw their former enemy in a new light. The achievements of a champion are indisputable. They are defined through his wins and losses inside the ring. But the character of a champion is more difficult to define. But on that day in April of 1989, Roberto Duran defined his character for millions of Latin Americans in a manner unique and unforgettable. Esteban de Jesus succumbed to AIDS on May 12, 1989, leaving behind a record of 58 wins against only 5 losses. More importantly, he was Roberto Duran's fiercest rival. Giving Duran his first loss, he may have awakened the sleeping beast, the true talent of Hands of Stone, helped propel Roberto to his destiny as perhaps the greatest lightweight of all time. But ultimately, what lives on is something more meaningful than 3 great fights full of intense action. Most surprisingly, what remains between 2 warriors after all that combat and struggle is respect, maybe even love. All right, Roberto Duran, Esteban de Jesus. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Archie Moore, Ezra Charles and Archie Moore's trilogy. They also had a trilogy. Okay. Yep, Archie and Ezra also had a classic trilogy. Let's take a look at that. We're going to try to get 4 of them in today. Duran de Jesus, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore, Bobby Chacon, and Rafael Bazooka-Limon, and Eric Morales, and Marco Antonio Barrera. But now, Ezra Charles and Archie Moore is the next one. Let's talk about that one. How's everybody this Wednesday afternoon? Appreciate everybody that's in the building so far. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. Okay, so now let's look at this next trilogy. Classic boxing rivalries today. Friday is going to be, profile is going to be the Will o' the Wisp, Willie Pep. Arguably the greatest defensive fighter of all time. One of the best pound for pound, too. I had Willie Pep number 3, right behind Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali, then Willie Pep, top 10 of all time. Okay? Of course, people that don't go back before the year 2000 wouldn't know anything about Willie Pep. A lot of people, boxing history is 2000 to now. But if you really know boxing history, Willie Pep is up there. We're going to talk about it Friday. I will prove it Friday how bad that man Willie Pep was. But now, the Cobra and the Mongoose, Ezra Charles and Archie Moore. As he sat on his stool awaiting the 8th round on January 13th, 1948, at the Cleveland Arena, Ezra Charles took in the words. Across the ring from him, in the other corner, was Archie Moore, a man who would one day leave the ring with 132 knockouts. It was dangerous poker, trying to reel in the old Mongoose. But Charles was slightly on edge. His ire had been raised at the close of the 7th round. Moore, he felt, had intentionally hit him after the bell. The stakes were high, or so the principals hoped, with the winner of the fight promised a title shot by the National Boxing Association. No one knew how realistic that idea was, since the champion, Gus Lesnovich, had already turned down a number of overtures to put the crown on the line against either fighter. Charles and Moore had met twice before in 10-rounders, with the first occasion coming on May 20th, 1946 in Pittsburgh. Moore had gone into the fight as the number one contender, though it was Charles that had the better of the action, earning a decision victory to take over the top spot. When they met a year later, on May 5th, 1947, in Charles' hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, it was a tighter affair, though Charles held on to his ranking after dropping Moore with a body shot in the 8th round to gain a majority nod on the cards. Lesnovich had been ringside for the second meeting and said after the fight that he would fight Charles or Moore or anyone else his manager picked. But when pressed about a sizable offer said to be on the table from Cincinnati promoters Sam and Benny Becker to face Charles, Lesnovich declined further comment. The champion had last defended his title in February of 1947, stopping Billy Fox in 10 rounds. Hyped up on the basis of a gaudy, albeit suspect, undefeated record, and managed by the notorious mobster Blakey Palermo, Fox had entered the fight as a favorite, only to lose almost every round. There had been no call for a second fight, but when Fox stopped Jake LaMotta over 4 infamous rounds at Madison Square Garden in November, Lesnovich's manager, Joe Vella, skipped over Charles and Moore, putting pen to paper on a rematch with Fox. In Cleveland, promoter Larry Atkins was incensed and appealed to the National Boxing Association to block the Fox-Lesnovich rematch. Atkins, who was back in the Charles Moore fight, had believed the winner of his promotion would have first crack at Lesnovich, the champion. On word of the Fox deal, he immediately sent off an angry wire to Vella. It's high time for somebody to speak out loud, and I intend to do just that in this bit of skullduggery that you are party to. Atkins announced that unless Lesnovich agreed beforehand to defend the title against the winner of Charles versus Moore, the Cleveland Boxing Commission would recognize the fight as a title affair. In response to Atkins' appeals, NBA chairman Fred Sadie stated that he saw no reason to strip Lesnovich and that it would be ridiculous to sanction Charles versus Moore for the championship. Sadie did say, however, that the organization would look into the matter at their next meeting. Unsatisfied by the NBA's stance, Atkins placed an advertisement in the Cleveland Plain Dealer stating that I am certain that the winner of this fight will be recognized internationally as the only champion in due time because I am positive that Gus Lesnovich will never fight either Charles or Moore. Events will prove my contention. Now, while the sanctioning bodies, promoters, and managers bickered, Charles and Moore readied themselves for battle. A 5-2 underdog, Moore had been undefeated since his last setback against Charles and was said to be better prepared than he had been for the first 2 meetings. According to the fighter's manager, Charlie Johnston, Moore had been overconfident and hadn't trained as he should have for either of the first 2 fights. To further bolster his fighter's credentials, Johnston reported that Moore had decked top heavyweight contender Elmer Violent Ray, the last man to gain a victory over Charles during a recent sparring session. The 26-year-old Charles had been on a steady roll since returning from military service after the Second World War. In 22 fights since resuming his career, the loss to Ray, a controversial split decision, had been his only defeat. Charles was a quick, powerful fighter with a crowd-pleasing style and the instinct to go for blood when the opportunity arose. His last two appearances in Cleveland, knockouts of Fitzy Fitzpatrick and hometown star Jimmy Bivens, had been scorching affairs, with Charles taking the fight to both sluggers. The knockout of Bivens at the Cleveland Arena underscored how daring a fighter Charles was at the time. Giving away almost 14 pounds to the man most fight aficionados believed was the greatest threat to Joe Louis, Charles went at Bivens with abandon from the opening bell. For his trouble, Charles was shaken badly in the second round and stunned again early in the third. But just when Bivens had seemingly taken control, Charles flattened the bigger man for the count with a sizzling right hand. Knocking out Moore, however, was a different proposition. At 31, and a veteran of just over 100 fights, Moore was already as cagey as ever, but still close to his physical prime. With a barbing, chin-tucked, back foot style, he was able to maintain an elusive target while pressing forward, looking to unleash hurtful shots. Moore, like Charles, had fought in Cleveland before, but it had been a few years since the locals had seen him. Based out of California at this stage of his career, he was a boxing nomad, seeking opportunities on the road while hoping to force his way to a title shot. He had been waiting for years, only to slip behind Charles in the pecking order. Now he had another chance to claim the spot and hopefully force Lenovich's hand. A crowd of 8,334 customers turned up at the arena. Not quite the 10,000 that Atkins had hoped, but still a very good crowd for a matchup of out-of-towners. With two big hitters of differing approaches, it was a fast-paced but tactical battle, with Charles bringing pressure but always wary of falling into one or Moore's traps. The first two rounds went to Charles on the strength of several right hands, though he was shaken in the second by a right to the ear. A determined body puncher, Charles was penalized in the third and fourth rounds by referee Jackie Davis for straying low with his left. Though Moore, busier than he had been early in the fight, opened up with his hook and may have won both rounds anyway. Charles turned it up a notch in the fifth, banging away with both hands and putting Moore on the defensive. It was a dangerous game to attack a potent counterpuncher, but Charles maintained the initiative in the sixth and had Moore briefly in trouble in the seventh, before Moore cracked back fiercely with a buzzing counter late in the round. Fueling the growing intensity of the fight, Moore landed a shot after the bell, angering Charles and setting the stage for an extraordinary finish. Had the circumstances been different, had the world title really been at stake, had television cameras been present, had writers from New York and beyond been ringside, what happened next would surely have found a place among boxing's most memorable moments. Ezra Charles took another look across the ring at Archie Moore. Would he set the most daring of traps and step into harm's way and let Moore catch him? Charles pondered. Charles pondered his corner's brazen plan for a moment before nodding. Yes, he would do it. The knockout. 2 minutes of the eighth round had gone by when Moore found the mark. It was a good enough shot to bloody Charles's mouth, and a follow-up left hook smashed into the Cincinnati man's ear with a right hand, coming in hard for good measure. Back into the ropes, Charles seemed to wobble from the force of the blow. As the crowd rose, Moore charged in, expecting to fire home a finishing salvo. With the trap set perfectly, Charles steadied himself and struck home a vicious left hook, followed by a sweeping right hand that smashed into the unsuspecting Moore's jaw. The force of the blow sending his mouthpiece flying. Moore tumbled to his knees before toppling flat on his back. He tried to rise, but was counted out as he groped hopelessly for the bottom rope. It was a good 20 seconds more before he was able to rise, and even then, it was only with the help of his corner. There was much talk in Cleveland over what had happened. Fitting his nature, Charles merely smiled and acknowledged that he had never seen Moore looking so sharp, that he needed to be on his game to beat him. Atkins was, of course, delighted, as was Charles' manager, Jake Mintz, who, having professed this fighter as the greatest puncher in the world, declared excitedly, "Bring on Gus Lestovich, bring on Joe Louis." But with Lestovich booked to face Fox once more, and Louis in talks for a rematch with Jersey Joe Walcott, the title picture wasn't a welcoming sight. Looking to stay busy, Charles accepted a fight in Chicago with a talented 26-year-old from Akron named Sam Berardi on February 20th, 1948. The youngster was coming off a 2-round destruction of hard-hitting Bob Satterfield the previous month, and the fight was highly anticipated among Chicago's boxing fans. Charles fought with his usual menace. He went hard to the body, drawing warnings for straying low on occasion, and showed no mercy in the late stages when his opponent started to fade. Knocked out in the 10th round, Berardi convulsed on the canvas before being taken by stretcher to his dressing room. In his adjoining dressing room, Charles was pacing back and forth, his voice trembling at his opponent's fate. A few hours later, Berardi would be dead from a brain hemorrhage. A soft-spoken, thoughtful man outside the ring, Charles couldn't understand what had happened. According to his trainer, Jimmy Brown, Charles wanted to quit boxing and return to his old trade as a mechanic. But he continued fighting after being urged to by Berardi's father. Yeah, that's significant. The guy that died fighting Charles, his father was the one that convinced Ezzard to keep fighting. The clamor for a chance at the light heavyweight crown continued, with Mintz informing Lestovich's management that Charles would accept a championship fight any place, any time, and with any terms. But the offer was ignored. Instead, Lestovich signed to meet Freddie Mills for a summer fight in London. After Mills won, hopes were dashed further when the Englishman's manager, Tad Broadrib, announced the new champion was not interested in facing Charles. By early 1949, talks had turned to a heavyweight title challenge, with rumors of a summer matchup against champion Joe Louis. So Ezzard couldn't get a fight at light heavyweight, so he went on up to heavyweight. Perro, sir, in the building. Salute, Perro. We talking about some classic rivalries today. We talking about Ezzard Charles and Archie Moore now. So Ezzard couldn't get a shot at the light heavyweight title, so that's when he went up to heavyweight. But salute, Perro. So yeah, Ezzard was talking about a matchup against champion Joe Louis now. But those hopes were scuttled when Louis announced his retirement on March 1st, leaving the crown vacant. Instead, Charles faced off against Jersey Joe Walcott for the NBA version of the title in June, winning a clear-cut unanimous decision. There's him in Jersey Joe right there. New York refused to sanction the fight as a championship fight, arguing that Charles and Walcott were only two of many contenders. The following year, Ezzard gained universal acceptance as champion when he outclassed Lewis, who had returned to the ring due to financial difficulties. Although he made a total of 8 successful defenses, there was something missing, though, from his performances. Many believe he could never forget Sam Berardi, the guy that had died after the fight against him. Charles was still an outstanding boxer, but the fiery daredevil who terrorized the light heavyweight ranks was gone, replaced by a cagey fighter, one seemingly content to win on points. He was paid handsomely for his title defenses. But fans didn't want a stylist for a heavyweight champion. They wanted drama and violence, the sort Charles used to bring. It's a strange juxtaposition, the two sides of Ezzard Charles. The man who courted danger from Moore, and the new Charles, a boxer only looking to hit hard enough to keep opponents away. He lost the crown to Jersey Joe Walcott in 1951 and failed to gain it back in 3 attempts, including 2 valiant ones against Rocky Marciano when he was clearly past his best. Charles eventually retired in 1959, broke, seen sadly more as an enema for what he never became than for the remarkable fighter he once was. Like many fighters, around that time, retired broke. Oh, not yet. You didn't miss them, Pero. They coming up next. Chacon-Limon is next. And then I'm saving I got Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. Y'all didn't do Vasquez Marquez. Morales-Barrera, Pero. Say the best for last. Okay? Finishing up Ezzard, though. Now, Ezzard found contentment for a while after his career was over. He was happily married with 3 children, and he was soon out of debt. But in early 1966, he fell ill against an impossible foe. His body, starting with his legs and moving progressively upwards, slowly stopped responding. His muscles degenerating under ravaging effects of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I was practicing that all day yesterday, but amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. In November of 1968, a benefit dinner was arranged at a Chicago hotel for the ailing fighter. It was attended by a number of prominent boxers and an overflowing crowd of fans. At the speaker's table, Archie Moore and Rocky Marciano sat alongside Charles, who was in a wheelchair by that point. Marciano called his former foes the odd couple, while Moore and Charles shared jokes and smiled for photographs. Now, with Archie Moore now living a good distance away in California, it had likely been a while since the two fighters had seen each other. As Marciano had hinted, they couldn't have been more different. Archie Moore, the loquacious prankster, and Ezzard Charles, always quiet and reserved. But they shared a common bond as champions who had earned their crowns the hard way. After his final loss to Charles, Moore had stuck around the light heavyweight division, racking up wins while waiting patiently for a chance that sometimes seems like it would never come. Finally, in December 1952, Moore's perseverance was rewarded when he wrested the crown away from Joey Maxim at the arena in St. Louis. Fighting well into his 40s, Moore would hang on to the title for nearly 10 years. Yeah, Archie had a long reign, still the longest reign in light heavyweight history. 9 years and some months. Not quite a decade, but almost. Now, you wonder what Charles and Moore may have talked about in those moments when they were at the benefit dinner. Charles probably wouldn't have felt right reminding his old rival about who had held the upper hand in their 3 fights. But perhaps more, to lift his old foe's spirits, or maybe because he was still a little sore, brought up the old days and mentioned that January night in Cleveland when the Cobra caught the mongoose. In time, Charles would lose the ability to speak and would have to rely on others for his basic needs. He communicated by blinking his eyes, and though life was hard, his smile still beamed from time to time. His wife quit her job to provide around-the-clock care until Charles entered the Veterans Administration Hospital in Chicago for good in 1974. Ezra Charles died in his sleep on May 27, 1975. He was 53 years old. Okay, so now let's take a look at Bobby Chacon and Raphael Bazooka Limon. Well, that rhymes. Bobby Chacon, Raphael Bazooka Limon. 2 killers back in the this series took place like late 70s into the early 80s. Chacon and Limon did, yeah. But 2 absolute killers. Chacon was that type of fighter where you had to bring 2 lunch pails. Because no matter how long the fight lasted, Bobby Chacon was coming. Okay? He was coming at you, bringing everything. And him and Bazooka Limon had a tetralogy. And each of the 4 fights got better and better, each one, as they went by. But let's take a look at it. Chacon and Limon, the schoolboy, Bobby Chacon versus Raphael Bazooka Limon. All that terrible blood, Bobby Chacon, Bazooka Limon. Now, it was over for the schoolboy. It had been over 4 years. Bobby Chacon belonged to another age. Bell bottoms, Jacqueline, Susanna, wide lapels, Beretta, in which Bobby actually held a cameo appearance once. Even his car, a 48 Chevy, made him anachronistic. He looked so much older now, and instead of resembling the graduate of San Fernando High School, he was starting to look like a dropout from Blackboard Jungle. The hard years had already caught up to him. He was 31, going on forever. Yet, here he was, adrift in the Reagan era, the MTV era, the Atari and Super Mario era, virtually on antique between the ropes. In March 1982, his few remaining hopes were smashed like a bottle of Thunderbird dropped from the balcony at the Olympic. That was when his wife Valerie put a .22 rifle to her head, said goodbye to the darkness, and pulled the trigger. It had been Valerie who had encouraged Bobby to become a pro fighter. It had been Valerie who bought his first boxing license, okay? It was Valerie who had been begging him to retire since the start of the decade. The welts, the lumps, the bruises, the cuts, the stitches, the bumps, they meant nothing to Bobby, but they meant everything to Valerie. Now, the day after Valerie committed suicide, Bobby answered the bell up in Sacramento, scoring a TKO over a fighter with a record of 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw. He wept in the ring when the fight was over. He needed a grief counselor more than he needed a cut man or a trainer. A few days later, Bobby would try emulating Val. A gun, despair, and a trembling finger on the trigger. Okay? Bobby was going to commit suicide himself. But he gave in to a moment of optimism. There were still things to live for, he figured. There was a mobile home and 20 acres in Palermo where Bobby had finally taken refuge from the permanent LA night crawl. And most importantly, there were his 3 children, Jonah, Jamie, and Chico. What would they do? With their mother and father both gone. So yeah, he made a wise decision. Put the gun away. In his newly blackened heart, of course, there was the ring. Always the ring, with its bleak allure. Like a lingering illness, something he could never shake. He was sure he could win another world title, more than 7 years after he had last held one as a rattle-boned featherweight, resembling the hunger artist and not a pro athlete. Bobby had been on the comeback trail since late 1976, when he first realized that it was even with his boyish grin, a burnt-out case of 25. That initial return was a farce. Bobby could barely drag himself into the ring. 3 postponements followed his comeback announcement. He begged off with the flu once, and then, like something out of a Mel Brooks film, tumbled out of the ring during a sparring session at the Main Street gym. He wrecked his elbow when he hit the concrete. It seems like I tried to BS my way, Bobby told the Los Angeles Times. I don't care what it seems like. I really want to fight. But Valerie did not want him to. When she visited Bobby in his dressing room after a savage win, she was convinced that he would die in the ring. Boxing was something he was good at, she told reporters, but something he's done for long enough. Against her tears, against her pleading, against her threats, Bobby continued boxing. In the tumultuous years following his start and stop return, he would drop title challenges to Alexis Arguello and Cornelius Botha Edwards. These losses were harrowing to both Bobby and Valerie. It ended in bloody stoppages. Early in 1982, another title shot seemed as far away from Bobby as his days as a gang member in San Francisco. But Bobby was always good television, and now he had inherited a tragic backstory that network executives could barely resist. After what had happened to Valerie, Bobby was now human interest personified. He got one last shot at glory, and it would come against his nemesis, a pitiless mauler, a man he had already fought 3 times, Rafael Bazooka Limon. Okay? One last shot against, of all people, Rafael Bazooka Limon. Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, T. Hill? The legendary Thomas Hill. Looking at 4 classic rivalries today, T. Hill. Now we're looking at Bobby Chacon versus Bazooka Limon. Okay, let's talk about Bazooka real quick. And we're going to get into this fight. Now, a 2-time junior lightweight champion and a notorious sourpuss, Limon had been in the mix at 130 for years. Among the top names he had faced since 1979 were Alexis Arguello, Frankie Baltazar, Cornelius Botha Edwards, and Rolando Navarrete. And of course, there was Bobby Chacon. How could you forget that? They first met in 1975 when Limon outpointed Chacon in a Mexicali bull ring. It was one of the fights that had edged Bobby to the brink of withdrawal. A beating he took from David Sotelo a few months later in a grueling decision win finally pushed him over the edge. Then Bobby and Bazooka had battled grimly to a technical draw at the PAC Sports Arena in Los Angeles. Finally, in 1981, Bobby squeaked by Bazooka by a split decision that could be counted as one of the few instances of good fortune he had seen since gloving up again. him and Cornelius Bowser Edwards right there. That's him and Bazooka. Now, during their rivalry, Chacon and Limon had developed a genuine loathing for each other. Well, it's all personal, Barbie told KO Magazine about his tetralogy with Limon. I didn't like Bazooka at all. It developed after our second fight, when he was telling people that I was a dirty fighter. To begin with, his big thing was how he beat Bobby Chacon the first time, and he mouthed off and stuff. Even before the fight, he said that I was washed up. It would be an easy fight for him. Now, ABC bought the matchup, and Bobby began preparation at the Washington neighborhood gym in Los Angeles. A $50,000 payday was only part of the motivation. Now, there was also the memory of Valerie to spur him on. To prepare for Chacon, whose sudden determined outlook was unusual for a confirmed slacker, Bazooka Limon sparred with a young Julio Cesar Chavez and even attempted a bit of psychological warfare by complimenting Bobby before the fight. But the schoolboy did not bite. He might be acting like he likes me, Barbie said, but I don't believe him. Barbie said Bazooka does not like me. Okay? He said, he acting like he like me, but I don't believe him. Now, Limon and Chacon squared off on December 11th, 1982, on a Sunday afternoon edition, A Wide World of Sports. Their third fight, more than 2 years earlier, had been considered such a robbery that odds makers made Limon the favorite, despite the fact that he had lost the rubber match. Chacon never looked back at losses, however, and neither did his boosters. For them, as well as for Bobby, there was only the here and now. The Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento seemed set to detonate at any moment. Just after 2 p.m., the fighters entered the ring. The crowd roared when Bobby was announced, and it booed when Bazooka was introduced. When the opening bell rang, it would be wire-to-wire bedlam, both in the ring and in the seats. Wire-to-wire bedlam between these two warriors. Both in the ring and in the seats. Now, usually a slow starter, Limon began cuffing Chacon around almost immediately. It would be charitable to say Limon was awkward or clumsy, but he was durable. Worked the body with zeal, packed a fair amount of power in his inaccurate hook, and whipped punches relentlessly from seemingly any angle out of his southpaw stance. Now, what really set Bazooka apart from the garden variety grinder, however, was his dedication to the jab, a tactic that gave his raging attack a certain amount of structure. While he often waded in, fist churning, he would often flick his jab to close the distance. And on the rare occasion he backpedaled, he shot out his jab to stymie an on-rushing foe. A frenetic sequence in the second round set the tone for the rest of the fight. Limon pinned Chacon against the ropes and strafed him to the head and body with every punch in the textbook, and twice as many that had not yet been invented. But Chacon weathered the storm and returned fire with straight rights that sent Limon retreating. Throughout the fight, Limon would take the same punch and target over and over because of the inability to master ring geography. One of Bazooka's major flaws, to go with a slew of minor ones, was his tendency to stand slightly square, creating a direct path for Chacon to land that strafing right, thrown with the same zip Dan Phelps used to launch a touchdown bomb downfield. A clubbing left in the third round sent Bobby to the canvas for a flash knockdown, and in the fourth, Bobby began to bleed from cuts around his nose and eye. 7 rounds later, another left put Bobby down again. this time seriously. Between knockdowns, Bobby gritted his teeth, took off a hellish body attack that would have crumpled a lesser fighter, and opened up a crossfire onslaught whenever he could. At times, Chacon used Limon for a speed bag, rattling bazooka from corner to corner, and more than once seeming on the verge of a TKO win. But bazooka was as tough as they come, and his highly developed sense of machismo only kept him vertical. But it also drove him to taunt Chacon at every opportunity. Yes, Bobby was just a shadow of a shadow now, no longer that quick step dynamo who set the action ablaze with his KO of Danny Little Red Lopez. No longer the man who earned the record purse, more than $160,000 for a featherweight when he squared up against Ruben Olivares at the Inglewood Forum. But he had something else going for him. All those years later, grief and perhaps a sense of atonement. But there was no way I could lose this fight, Bobby would later say. I've been working so damn hard. I thought to myself, if I lose, where do I go? I had to win. Until this unsuccessful title challenge of Cornelius Boza Evans in 1981, Bobby had never been past 10 rounds. But now, here he was in the 12th, fiercely whipsawing blows against Bazooka Limon, whose reputation for stamina and endurance, likely helped by the 4 years he had spent in the Mexican army, was one of the surest things in boxing. So when the bell rang for the 15th and final round, the fight was still undecided. Chacon had suffered 2 knockdowns, costing him points on the scorecards. But Limon was exhausted, and Chacon realized he could close the gap with a strong final round. Given what had transpired over the previous 42 minutes, the pace in the 15th was remarkable. Both men hammered each other relentlessly. Finally, with less than 20 seconds remaining in the fight, Aurelio Limon reached out, uncoordinated now, reflexes gone now, and remained frozen momentarily in front of Chacon, who crashed home a right hand that sent Bazooka stutter-stepping in retreat. Chacon launched another right, and Limon crashed to the canvas, landing on his side, his head coming to rest beneath the bottom rope. It was a miracle that Limon beat the count, and it was another miracle that the bell saved him from further punishment. The fight was over, and a unanimous decision by a total of 4 points across the board went to Bobby. More than 7 years after losing his featherweight title, Bobby Chacon was a champion again. At the post-fight press conference, Bobby spoke poignantly about his return to the top. I won my first title when I was 22, but I gave the championship away. I had to get it back. There was no way I could lose this fight. I told my wife, Valerie, to wait around. This was all I wanted, one more title. But it was in the ring, just after the fight was over, that his true message got through. This is dedicated to my wife, Valerie. If only she could be here with me. Okay. Let's get to Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. This won't take long. Here. This is the final of the 4 trilogies. Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera. 2 warriors, 2 Mexican warriors. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This was a great trilogy here. Recalling the trilogy between Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. There they are. Barrera on the left, Morales on the right. Okay, let's talk about it. Now, Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera gave the boxing world a trilogy of fights that will live long in memory. The two Mexican fighters were bitter rivals in the ring. While hostility between boxers can sometimes be manufactured to help create interest, Morales and Barrera had a genuine dislike for each other. They were different in their methods. Morales was a tall, talented puncher, while Barrera was a short, stout boxer who loved to work up close. The one common factor between the pair was their desire for success, particularly at the expense of the other. Morales finished his career with a 52-9 record, having won world titles in 4 different weight classes. Barrera was 67-7 when he finally hung up the gloves. He had been a 5-time national champion as an amateur too. Okay, Morales-Barrera won. We're gonna go through all 3 of this great trilogy. Morales-Barrera won. Okay. Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, Las Vegas, Nevada, February 19th, 2000. Now, both fighters had a version of a world title at Super Bantamweight, 122. Morales was the WBC champion, having claimed the belt by knocking out Daniel Zaragoza in 1997. He had successfully defended it 8 times before meeting Barrera, including outpointing Wayne McCullough. Now, Barrera, meanwhile, had claimed the vacant WBO strap in 1998, beating Richie Winton. Barrera had, though, lost twice in previous attempts to pick up the same title, both times to Junior Jones. Morales had no such problems when he came up against Jones in 1998, stopping him in the 4th round. The rivalry between the two Mexicans was also already bubbling under the surface, though what led to the animosity was unclear. Pirro probably can tell us that. Now, there was talk of a knockdown during a sparring session, while their different backgrounds did not lend to them becoming friends. For others, it was simply the inevitable result of the two boxers' distinct backgrounds. An unavoidable class war with the added spice of regional rivalry thrown in for good measure. Morales, the working class street kid from the ghettos of Tijuana, was never going to get along with Barrera, the educated middle class big city boy from El Distrito Federal, they say. The fact they were from different parts of Mexico also helped fan the flames of competition as they battled to take over for Julio Cesar Chavez as the country's leading boxing icon. Okay, let's look at fight number 1. Fight number 1 between Morales and Barrera. We're going to get all 3 of them in. We got plenty of time. Okay, fight number 1. They have been traded insults in the build-up. The two didn't wait long to start trading leather once the fight first bell sounded, though they did not touch gloves before the fight. Okay? Now, Barrera claimed the center of the ring early and looked to work the body. Morales, though, was not a difficult target to locate. He responded with combinations, working in short bursts. The 5th round was both brilliant and brutal. Morales' right hand began to land regularly for the first time, forcing his rival to cover up under pressure. But Barrera weathered the storm in the first half of the round before launching an attack of his own that wobbled his compatriot. Neither man was knocked down during an epic 3 minutes, though there was late drama in the final round. After the pair finally touched gloves before going back into battle, with Barrera also offering a nod of appreciation, the 12th saw Morales go down for the first time in his career. It wasn't a heavy fall. In fact, far from it. Under pressure, he simply wilted, dropping a knee to the canvas. Referee Mitch Halpern spotted it and began a count, much to the obvious annoyance of El Terrible. When the action resumed, he flew at Barrera in a bid to score a knockdown of his own in the closing seconds. Now the verdict. Okay, who won? The verdict, the first fight. Despite the final round, Morales won the fight by split decision. 114, 113 on 2 cards, and the other went to Barrera, 115, 112. Now, Barrera looked disconsolate when the verdict was announced. Morales said afterward, "People needed a great fight, and we gave it to them." Comprobox. Morales threw 868 punches compared to Barrera's 618, though Morales landed only 20 more, 319 to Barrera's 299. Morales relinquished his titles to move up in weight. He later admitted he made a mistake in agreeing to the fight at the 122-pound limit. "It killed me to make the limit of 122 pounds, and I did not climb into the ring at 100%. Okay, Morales versus Barrera 2. Morales versus Barrera 2. Okay, second fight. MGM Grand, Las Vegas, June 22nd, 2002. Now the pair went their separate ways at different weights after the first fight, with Morales moving up to campaign at featherweight. He claimed the interim WBC title by stopping American Kevin Kelly in the Snakes outing, and then became full champion by outpointing Goody Espadas Jr. in 2001. After one successful defense against the brave but outclassed Nguyen Chi in Los Angeles, Morales put his belt on the line against Barrera in the summer of 2002. The fight had initially been set to take place in March, except Barrera suffered a rib injury. Now, Barrera had continued campaigning at super bantamweight, recording 3 victories before stepping up to the 126-pound limit for the chance to take on Hasim Hamed. Yeah, he just dog walked Hamed. Hamed only had one more fight after that Barrera lost. And Barrera duly took the Prince's unbeaten record, despite being deducted a point for pushing the Englishman's head into a turnbuckle in the final round. Yeah, he had the Prince to the headlock. Morales and Barrera came to blows long before they met again in the ring, though. A press conference staged in Houston late in 2001 saw Barrera challenge his rival to repeat a slur he had used about his rival's sexuality. Yeah, Barrera dared Morales to say it again. And when Morales obliged and said it again, they were standing side by side. The baby-faced assassin responded with a right hand. Now, although the brawl was brief, it only served to pour more petrol on an already heated rivalry. Now, Barrera said, "I think he's an excellent fighter and a marvelous champion, but as a person, he's insular. He doesn't think, talks far too much, and he's annoyed me greatly by behaving in this ridiculous way that he does." Okay, fight number 2 between Barrera and Morales. Now, Morales was on a 41-fight unbeaten streak coming into the second fight, which was promoted as the Ultimate Feud. In the rematch, he was the more dominant early on, with his opponent allowing him to work too often from long range. But after a slow start, Barrera slowly worked his way back into the fight. He found a way to get up close enough to do damage on Morales, who tired as each round went by. There was another controversial knockdown too, though this time it was Barrera who touched the canvas after being caught off balance by a body shot. But referee Jay Nady ruled it as a slip, believing the pair's feet had become entangled. It was a brave call from the official, as Barrera clearly reached back and touched down with a glove. An eye injury bothered Morales in the second half of the fight, though when the final bell sounded, he threw up his arms in celebration. The second fight is seen by many as the most technical of the three. To suggest that either fighter performed quiescently is akin to describing Usain Bolt's. Well, we're going to go by that. But yeah, the verdict for the second fight. Who won fight number 2? There's your winner. Fight number 2. All three judges were in agreement. Barrera was a unanimous winner. 2 of the judges scored at 115-113 for Barrera, and the third had it 116-112. That was Morales' first professional loss. He said of the scoring, "I still think I won. He did nothing the first 6 or 7 rounds." Yep, Morales said he still think he won. I think Barrera won that one. I saw it. Okay, 3, final fight. Morales and Barrera. 3. Final fight. Okay, this one was at MGM Grand in Las Vegas, November 27th, 2004. Now, while the third fight between Barrera and Morales seemed a certainty, considering the controversial results in the first 2 fights, the boxing public had to wait to see it. Smarting from his first pro defeat in the second fight, Morales went on an impressive 6-fight winning streak. He quickly reclaimed the WBC featherweight title after Barrera vacated it. Morales outpointed Paulie Ayala to become a world champion again. Then Morales took the decision to move up to super featherweight, winning both the WBC and IBF belts, although he was stripped of the IBF for refusing to fight his mandatory challenger, Robbie Peeten. Meanwhile, Barrera recorded victories over Johnny Tapia and Kevin Kelly before running into a hungry young fighter by the name of Manny Pacquiao. Pac-Man stopped Barrera in the 11th round. The baby-faced assassin bounced back with a win over former Morales opponent, Ayala, in what would be his final fight at featherweight as he agreed to move up to 130 pounds to take on Morales in their trilogy fight. The rivalry wasn't just between the 2 fighters, though. Top Rank's Bob Arum promoted Morales. He had also previously promoted Oscar De La Hoya, who ended their relationship to start up his own company, Golden Boy. Now, Oscar signed Barrera, which meant the 2 former associates now found themselves in opposite corners for a fight, dubbed Once and For All. Yeah, the Bob father promoted Morales and Oscar promoted Barrera. Once and For All is what they called the third one. Let's take a look at it. Now, in a reversal to the second fight, Barrera started brightly and damaged Morales' nose in the second round, early in the fight. Barrera's early dominance was surprising, considering he was making his debut at the weight, 130. Okay, first fight at 130, came up to fight Morales in that third fight. Barrera was giving away several pounds and a few inches, yet found a way to negate both disadvantages by setting a high tempo. Kept the pressure on Eric early. Now, Morales took his time to get the grips with the task at hand. He himself, by he became more and more desperate. The final 2 rounds saw the pair stand toe-to-toe and slug it out, and naming the fight his fight of the year for 2004. Now, neither man could force a stoppage in this fight, which meant, once again, you had the judges to decide and the winner for the third fight, same winner for the second fight. Marco Antonio Barrera, the baby-faced assassin. Barrera got the nod from 2 of the 3 officials, with the others scoring at a 114-114 draw. So what a series. 1 split decision, 1 close unanimous decision, and then a majority decision in the third fight. Now, the result meant that the baby-faced assassin was crowned the new WBC super featherweight champion. He said in the immediate aftermath, "I did this fight to show all boxing fans that this is what boxing is all about." Morales, however, had to reflect on a second career defeat at the hands of the same person, his arch enemy. Now, 4th fight seemed possible at the time, but never materialized. Morales went up in weight again, at one stage fighting at 147. Barrera, meanwhile, held on to the WBC strap until 2007, when he lost it to Juan Manuel Marquez. He also suffered another defeat at the hands of Pacquiao. Now, some people say they buried the hatchet. Some people say they didn't. So I don't know. But there they are. That's after their careers. Now, thankfully, though, 2 modern-day greats of Mexican boxing buried the hatchet. Morales said of his relationship with Barrera, this was in 2010, though. "Things happen, but we are friends. Time heals all wounds." Now, that was in 2010, though, so I don't know now. That was 16 years ago, right? Oh, there we go. Perro says the rivalry stemmed from long-standing beef between Mexican City and Tijuana. Okay, yeah, I had heard something about that, Perro. Yeah, but Morales was from Tijuana, right, Perro? And I think let's get like a couple minutes of late time here. Oh shoot. Okay. We need to have this rivalry explained before we get out of here. Okay? How's everybody though? It's what is today? Wednesday? Yeah. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Right? Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, shoot. Oh, my goodness. What did I do? That ain't right. Shit. Oh, my God. I gotta do it again. Shit. Excuse my French. Excuse my French. I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah. Man. Bear with me for one moment, please. There we go. Oh, what happened? All right. Yeah, Friday is going to be Willie Pep, the Will o' the Wisp. It's going to be the profile. Okay? We're going to talk about his life, his career. Went around without throwing a punch one time. Defense and ring generalship. He went around on ring defense and ring generalships. Willie Pep did. All right. I thought I had messed up again. What's up, Piro? There you go. What's up, Piro?
Yeah. Can you give me 2 minutes?
Say it again.
Can you give me 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay. I sure can. Thomas Hill must have left. But yeah, Willie Pep Friday had 100 and I think he was had over 200 fights in his career. He had, I think, 229 wins, 241 fights altogether. He won his first 62 fights. Then he lost one. Then he won 72 or 73 more. He was 135 and won at one point in his career. Yeah. Just amazing fighter. One of the top fighters of all time. Top 5 boxers of all time, Willie Pep. Yes, he is. I got number 3 all time. Great. Willie Pep, we're going to talk about it Friday, his great career. He had him and Sandy Sadler didn't like each other too much, like Morales and Barrera. But then after their career, they started traveling around doing exhibitions together. Yep, they became friends. They fought 4 times, so I guess they got a certain respect for each other, 4 times in the ring. The last fight is called the dirtiest fight of all time. And then I told you all about Willie had the plane crash. I think it was 1947. Plane crash. Had very significant injuries. And the doctor told him he would never fight again. Shoot, Willie said, the only thing I ain't gonna do again, Doc, is fly at night. Willie fought again that year. 10 more times that year, same year the plane crash. Okay? 10 more times that same year he fought of the plane crash. Okay? Them guys were just built different back then. And then when he had that one 62 straight, when he had that first loss, he wanted to get back in the win column so bad he had his next fight the next week. He fought again the next week. And he won, but he wanted to get a win so bad he fought the next week. Remember Sugar Ray and Jake LaMotta? They fought twice in 3 weeks. And then the week in between their 2 fights, Sugar Ray had another fight. And then 2 weeks after their second fight in 3 weeks, Jake had another fight. And he had fought a fight a month before their first fight. So he had 3 fights in a month and a half or something. just built different back in them days. Fighters were. That's all. Wait, Perro dropped off. Oh, there he's back. He's back. All right, there we go. Okay, what's up, Perro?
What up, Cass? Testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, man? How you doing? How's your day going?
Okay. Going
Right,
good
right.
so far. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All is
Yeah,
well.
I was listening while I was doing my work. It was a good
Okay.
good show, but you missed one of the best rivalries out there, bruh. But maybe next time.
Which one was that?
Marquez versus Vasquez.
Oh yeah, Raphael. Yeah.
Yeah, the last great one. The last great one. They had 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get it then.
The 4th one wasn't competitive because Vasquez's eyes were done. But the first 3 were, which I went to 2 of them live. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
I
it has,
had time to get 4 in,
Yeah,
but I get that one too.
and it has like he quits in the first fight. Vasquez does.
Really?
Yeah. He quits because he breaks his nose. He can't breathe. And literally, it's just it was like the perfect storm. Like literally, he was with Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach, I guess, didn't like. That's the rumor that Freddie Roach didn't like that he quit. So he got rid of him. Vasquez ended up going with I don't know if it was a trainer out of LA, or in Mexico City. I forget. But then he ends up winning the next 2. He obviously loses the 4th one, but that's because his eyes were shot.
Yeah.
And then he dies. Then he dies recently too. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I heard he died. Not too long ago, right?
Not too long ago from cancer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lost his eye. He went blind out of one eye.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to talk to him, Cass. I got to talk to him. That was a great thing.
When did you get to talk? Was he still fighting then?
No, he was long retired. This was when all this YouTube started. There was a YouTuber in Spanish that everybody was getting started. And he was doing open panels at the time, and he let me join, and he did shows with him. He did like a little segment where he did like he was like his co-host for like 10 episodes.
Oh man!
And I got to talk to him, say what up, and tell him show him appreciation because I went to all 3. I went to two of the 4.
Yeah. Wow. Now, what was you said about Marquez and what started their hatred that they did?
Morales and Barrera.
Yeah.
So yeah, it stems from the rivalry in Mexico versus Mexico City fighters and Tijuana fighters, and it's kind of like where Tijuana fighters sometimes they could think like Mexico City fighters, especially how back in the day when everything ran through Mexico City. So kind of the Mexico City fighters, like they have a reputation, like you're from Mexico City, like you're one of the baddest in the land. But they also had a reputation of doing a lot of like they would protect a lot of Mexico City fighters really early on, because everything went literally everything went through the Mexico City boxing scene. So it stems from that, and then also Morales just didn't like Barrera. That's the feeling I got, because when the fight first got announced or whatever, literally I think Barrera threw a punch at one of the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah. And Barrera, that's because he's a hothead. It wasn't Barrera's first time. Barrera threw a punch at Kennedy McKinney.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. No, watch it. It's cool because Kennedy McKinney, it's in his hometown, right? And Kennedy McKinney just starts yelling at a Barrera. He's like, "You're telling me you're going to come to my hometown and take what I got and this, that, and the other?" And he couldn't. And he explains it in a few podcasts that he couldn't understand a word he was saying. But he turns over to the guy next to him, which is his lawyer, and he's like, "I'm gonna throw a punch at him." He's like, "Will you pay the lawsuit?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll pay it." And as soon as he said, "Yeah, I'll pay it," he throws a punch at him.
He told him first.
And watch it. Yeah, and watch it. It's on film. You can tell he's talking to the guy next to him, and he's like, "Yeah, okay," and he throws a punch at him, bro. Barrera's a hothead. In the ring, out of the ring.
What is their relationship now? I heard they had made up, but then I heard they still didn't like each other.
that was the rumor. But then this is like recent news because like this was a podcast that came out. Well, two podcasts because they've been on a podcasting like everybody's podcasting now. But apparently, it was the son. It was Barrera's son. They had the idea for the podcast, and like literally, like Barrera didn't want to do the podcast. He's like, "Nah, I'm good." And so the son convinced him. And at the end of the day, like literally, like he didn't want to do it with Morales. That his son convinced him to do it, and out of like just to support his son, and like he's like, all right, just to support you, I'll do it. But apparently now, like Morales and Morales' kid brother, which is also a world champion, they have their own podcast that they do, and Barrera is according to the rumors, he's in they're in a lawsuit to see who gets the name. But according to this podcast, that's a rumor. That literally is just he's gone, like he left, and yeah, we weren't really ever friends. Like I did it for my son, and once he didn't want to do it no more, so they literally had beef like throughout the whole. Like there was a time where like literally like they wouldn't even do a podcast together. They would stream episodes, but Morales would do the interviews. Like he would go out to the actual fighters or whoever he was interviewing, and Barrera would like do the interviews. Like they would conduct separate interviews.
Then they would put it together for the podcast.
No, they would literally just they wouldn't put it together. Okay. They would do it separate, but it was just they still had the whole like that people have videos to introduce the channel, so they still have them like that. Yeah, but apparently like they're in a fight to see who gets the naming rights, but this is a bunch of BS. But you just want to make it clear that that it's done. We're not doing that anymore.
What's up, D Free? D Free in the building.
Yeah, and this was literally he barely just said this.
You were saying that Morales got a brother to fight now. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. It's his kid brother. It's Peluche Morales. He was a world champion as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What weight class is he? Is he still fighting now?
Oh no. They fought at the same time.
Oh, okay. Back then,
they fought at the same time. Yeah, well, the reason you never knew it is that his younger brother didn't really like boxing. Mm-hmm. So like he became world champion and everything, but like he didn't give it his 100%. So he ends up losing his title, and then he just quit. He's just like, I'm good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's his name again? I'm gonna have to check him out.
I forget his first name, but I'll tell you right now. I think it's Armando, but his nickname is Peluche. Peluche is stuffed animal.
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, that's the first. I never do that. Wow.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but that's his kid brother. They're not that much. Diego. Diego's his first name.
Diego Morales.
Diego Morales, correct.
I think I heard that name before.
Yeah, that's not his brother. That's his brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 37 and Diego Morales. Yeah. But he was 37 and 2.
Yeah.
37 and 2.
Morales' brother.
Yeah, 37 and 2.
37 and 2. Wow. Were they around the same weight classes?
No, like he was smaller. He was smaller than his brother. So he was a super flyweight champion.
Okay, super flyweight. What's that, like 115?
Super flyweight is I think like it's below bantam if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. I'm thinking 115. Yeah. 115. Yeah.
Okay.
He actually he was champion for 2 defenses. Yeah.
2 defenses.
2 defenses of the title, and then he loses to Adonis Rivas. And let me see. He got another shot at a little title, but he lost by disqualification. And then he went on a little run of like 10-0 after that loss, but then he retired.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about him because he didn't like it. What's up, brother?
Did I ask you the other day between Rolly and Teofimo the other day?
I'm pretty sure you did. I got Tio by like 5th round stoppage. Tio by like 5th round.
You got stoppage. I got it by decision. Wow.
Yeah, I think Tio's got to make a statement, and Rolly's really bad. So I think. Well, that's the thing, though. Yeah. I could see your prediction coming true as well because Tio's power didn't carry after he left lightweight. Yeah,
it didn't. It don't seem like it did to me.
Yeah, but Rolly don't have a chin though. in my humble opinion.
I definitely think Teofimo are gonna win it. I got it by decision though, but man, I can't see. Rolly got to get a stoppage. I can't see him outboxing Teofimo.
Yeah, and I can't see him getting a stoppage either. To be honest, I can't see him getting a stoppage.
A lot of people picking him though. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, I understand why because how they explain it. They say, "Oh, Rolly's improved this and the third." I'm like, Rolly has not improved. I don't know what people are talking about, bro. But okay.
That's the first thing everybody say he improved.
Yeah, that he improved. I mean, like he beat Ryan. Good for him. Like literally, like nothing's crazy under the sun, you know. But like, did people see how he beat Ryan? Like, I mean, like that was no impressive feat. So I don't know what we talk about.
Only thing I say about it, he just got a better trainer. That's about it. He went from Bullet to Salas, right? Yeah,
right. I mean, I mean, he has improved from like when he was really truly bad. I will say that. But I mean, like, to beat these guys, like the guys that are better than him, I mean, nah. But like I say, I thought Ryan was going to mop the floor with him, but for whatever reason, Ryan got dropped and decided not to fight back.
He after that hook, after he got dropped, like Ryan packed it in.
Yep.
You know.
I have my own theories, but they're conspiracy theories. At the end of the day, I give him credit though. He beat Ryan, you know, like he did what people thought that he wasn't going to do. So I give him credit.
Yeah, he did. I definitely didn't pick him for that one.
No. Yeah,
so you gotta give him credit for that, but I don't think he's gonna be a champion too long, you know.
I don't consider him a champion right now anyway. That's just me. I know. I mean, like it's in the books. Like I know. That's what I'm saying. His name is gonna be in the books that he's got a belt. Right. But I mean, like he won a vacant title off of a loss. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Versus a dude coming off of a loss. Versus a dude coming off a loss.
To be the champion, you had to at least defend it once before you was really considered the true champion. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's how it's still done. Traditionally, because unfortunately, like fighters retire. Like sometimes you can't beat the champ, but that's the way you to legitimize yourself is by defending that shit. You know, with the best, with the best available. You know,
especially you pick like a vacant belt or something.
Yeah, because Canelo had fought for vacant belts. Crawford fought for vacant belts. Like every legendary fighter fought for vacant belts. But what made them different is that eventually, when it was all said and done, they beat champions. You know, like literally, they just didn't win vacant belts and then retired and said, "I'm the greatest."
Yeah. You know, Bud never defended none of his undisputed, though. I don't think.
He didn't. No, wait, he didn't. No, because he was supposed to defend it versus he wasn't even supposed to defend it versus Spence because apparently like that was gonna be at 154, but then Spence was injured, too fucked up. And then 140 he moved up, and that's it. Yep. And then he was never gonna defend at 168.
He retired.
But I mean, he was never gonna do it though.
Yeah,
he said it himself. Like if he was gonna keep going, he was gonna go back down.
Right.
Yeah. Which I don't hold it against him, but the thing is too is like the people that like really like ride hard for Crawford is like. You can't like that's part of it. Like literally, like it's not his fault that unfortunately, like he didn't, have a career like others have had, but he still had a great career. But you can't discount that. Like, he retired as the undisputed super middleweight champion. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like the way I see it, he just beat Canelo, which happened to be the champion. I mean, he's still undisputed on the books, but. I mean,
never defended it though, man.
He never defended it. I mean, even if he dropped them all and say he fought Christian and Billy and beat him, that would help out. That would add to his win versus Canelo. Because like even though it wasn't for the titles, he fought like literally one of the top 3 in the division and beat him.
He'll beat somebody else in that division. Yeah,
exactly.
Into it.
Yeah, it's like at 154. Like at 154, like he beat Madrimov for a title that Madrimov won off a vacancy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. He never defended. Did he? No, he never fought again at 154. No, he never defended that either.
No, he defended it. I believe 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times. I believe. Let me see. 154. Yeah, 154. I think he defended it twice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I'm just saying is that, like, even though like he did add to if I'm wrong, but if I'm right that he defended it, like that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
You know, because sometimes, like literally, like you gotta wait. You know, you gotta wait your turn, and sometimes like these guys retire because of whatever reason, and you can't fight the champ. It's like Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis. That's why I was glad that he fought Stanionis before he moved up, because at the end of the day, a unification versus another of the exactly. That's why I was like, okay, I understand that. You know, because like he wasn't gonna get the fight with Bud. He was never gonna get the fight with Bud.
Nah, that wasn't gonna never happen. Now, if he had just won the titles without that Stanionis fight, that would be looking at him a little bit sideways. But he did defend his titles at least once. You know, that made it a whole lot better. Yeah,
and he got lucky too, because Virgil was supposed to fight that dude, but Virgil died.
Oh yeah, Stanionis got postponed like twice. Remember?
Yeah. At the second time,
Stanionis had kidney or something. Remember? When Stanionis had sub kidneys one time or something.
Yeah. Stanionis got injured as well. Yeah. Like literally. Stanionis, Tim Tszyu was supposed to fight Charlo too.
Yeah.
Like literally, I had my tickets to that fight.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tim Tszyu and Charlo.
Yeah, I had my tickets on my plate.
What stopped that one?
What you call it? Charlo got injured.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlo got injured.
Where's that going to be at?
They postponed in Vegas. In Vegas. Wow. Yeah, they postponed it, but then the Canelo fight came up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go fight Canelo. You know?
Yeah. He went for the money. Yeah. So what did they canceled the entire card?
Yeah.
So what they reimburse your money back to you?
Yeah. I got my money back.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it was the week of.
Wow.
It was like 2 weeks or a week of. Yeah, no, factual facts, bro.
Yeah. I remember they were supposed to fight, but I couldn't remember what the cancellation was for and everything, you know.
Yeah, injury. Yeah. And like literally that would have problems too, because like the first time it was postponed, I think it was postponed twice. The first time I think it was something or other, and then Tim Tszyu got injured, and they had to postpone it again, and then finally, okay, we're gonna get it. Tickets were on sale. I'm like, cool, I'm going to that one because I'm a big Jermell Charlo fan, and then they canceled it again. Yeah, I saw Jermell Charlo undisputed at over here by my house.
With Castano?
With Castano, the second one, yeah. It was over here right across the street from my daddy's house.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's called the Home Depot Center.
For Mel coming back, Pearl? What's a good fight for Mel coming back? What's a good fight for him coming back? Who's a good opponent?
They were saying, well, at least Robert was saying it was going to be Virgil and Jermell.
Oh, yeah?
But then Jermell ended up telling Lanks Pugmire, this is what I read, that no, that's not true, that there was some negotiations going on, but they didn't lead nowhere because he went to talk to Al, and Al said that he's going to fight Tim Tszyu.
Oh, yeah. I heard something about him and Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, so they're probably going to make that one. Yeah.
Some people talking about Virgil and we was talking about the guy the other day. Damn, I can't remember his name, Pearl. Remember Wednesday we was talking Monday? Mm-hmm. He just fought. The guy just fought like a couple weeks ago.
Conwell?
Yeah, Conwell.
Yeah, I heard Conwell was an option. I heard Tim Tszyu was an option, but none more. I also heard that Arizona Lara, they're trying to work something out with Arizona Lara. They're also
Lara.
Yeah. Also heard a rumor of Xander Zayas in him.
Wow. That would be a good one.
Not for Zayas.
Virgil in that.
Yeah, not for Zayas.
Virgil.
Two losses in a row?
Virgil in that.
I'll pick Virgil on that one. Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, Zayas' team might not do that. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Like, you already fought Boots and got your ass beat. I mean, I don't know.
I ain't got him doing that, Pearl. Nah. I don't think it's gonna be that one. No.
But but I think Jesus Ramos moved up too.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, Shane Mosley Jr. versus Virgil. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be good too.
Who else is at 160? Then 160 so bare right now.
I know, man. That guy Hernandez, he's still kind of young though. Urelis.
Which Hernandez?
160. What's his name? Urelis?
Oh, Yoenli.
The Cuban
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah. He's all right. He's all right. He's still green. Yeah, he's still a big green.
Yeah, he's still developing. He's not ready for no Virgil yet. I wouldn't say.
I wouldn't say either.
Nah. Yeah, they wouldn't.
But I mean,
no, that's too early.
That's what sucks about the whole situation. Like Boots and Virgil needs to happen, and then all this political bullshit happened, and like literally at least for me, I've been waiting for Boots Virgil for since they started fighting. They started at the same time.
Everybody had from 147.
Yeah, but all these Boots
I think it happened in 2027.
Weird people are like, he doesn't need a fighter. We can wait. And this, like, how long we gotta wait? Fuck this shit.
I think it happened in 2027.
I hope so, because if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna hold them both accountable. Yeah, that's how I roll. I'm gonna hold Boots and Virgil accountable. I'm gonna be like, fuck both.
If it don't happen by next year, you got to put it on both of them.
I'll put them on both because it's
2027.
You can't go your whole career and literally have that much hype behind both of you and not fight literally you're the guy that they started at the same time, same division.
Yeah.
Like Boots Virgil was forever. Exactly.
They don't. Yeah, they can't in their careers without fighting. No way, man. No way.
No, they can't. But hey, man, I mean,
2027. I think it'll happen next year, though.
This crazy boxing climate, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of these fighters will never fight each other. I know. Yeah, my God.
I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
The way boxing is nowadays, man.
Yeah, and I blame the fighters to a point that literally they have to wake up one day and realize that the promoters don't have as much power as they think they have anymore. Literally they're contractually obligated and literally since I can remember the fighters do what the promoters say, but if literally it's you got to do something. I mean, I don't know. It's unfortunate, and then the sanctioning bodies are getting more egregious with this shit.
It's just too much going on now.
Yeah, and then now it's like everything, literally all the information they're getting, the fans are getting so much disinformation. All you hear is duck. It's I
know,
I don't know. It's we're dealing with morons, bro. You guys can't say anything more than duck.
Use that word too much. Duck.
Oh, Lord.
Two fighters don't meet. Sometimes it ain't duck. Sometimes it's just the politics of it. It just don't happen, I mean, ain't always got to be a duck.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm going really frustrated. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Social media hurts boxing too,
Oh, you're not even in my opinion. You're spot on. Literally, sometimes I ask myself if the channels that are out here, these are the ones that talk and the big ones, the small ones. If they know they're being manipulated, to me, it's I don't think they're that dumb that they don't know they're being manipulated by these trainers and boxing people that go on their platforms and say one thing and then contradict themselves the next. I'm I mean, I hope they're training guys I hope they're training guys super well, man. That's all I know.
That's what I say.
Because if you're doing it for free, if you're ruining especially the American boxing landscape for free, there's a special place in hell for you. There's a special place in hell for you people. I mean, you do it for free, okay?
Yeah, the way some of these people go in for some of these people, man, they got to be getting paid something.
Dude,
damn. But some people just fans of fighters, Fighter can't do no wrong. Unconditional support.
I've been fans of fighters my whole life, cuz that's kind of how boxing works. Because it's so personal. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's yeah, I know what you mean.
Unconditional. You don't have unconditional support though.
I do though.
If a fighter
I do.
Something you don't agree with, you're gonna say it.
No, that I will because because nobody's above reproach. But
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, me, I unconditionally support Mexican fighters.
Any fight against them too.
Yeah, no, I know because at the end of the day, it's none of these fighters are above reproach. Because that's how boxing is. Literally, like the boxing is about not just about the fighters, but it's also about like especially for the fans, like casual and hardcore, is like the connection you have with some of them. You know, some of these fighters like really like have to like, you know how they say nowadays the youngsters like got it out the mud. Some of these motherfuckers really got it out the fucking mud, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I meant by it.
not to mention the tomato cans. I don't like to call them tomato cans, but that's what they are. Or the guys that they bring in to like to give these fighters rounds. Like these dudes like literally get paid $50 to get in there to get their ass beat. You know, it's just like it sucks. You know, like it's a dangerous ass sport, bro.
Wow, you could get a regular job and make more than that.
I know. Well, it used to be that like literally like boxing was like the last resort. Like amongst like athletes, like oh yeah, you do boxing because like literally like you had no other choice.
Right, you couldn't do nothing, couldn't get into anything else.
Or if you could, it's like it could be like I've been watching like these reports on like pay to play in a lot of youth sports.
Yeah.
You know, in Mexico, it's a lot like that too. When it comes to soccer, they have a big play to play.
Gym, so I'm gonna be there shortly. Just my bad, Pluto.
What did you say to you?
Oh, he said he was in the gym, but he's gonna jump back in.
Oh, in the gym.
Yeah, he said be right back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, Cass? Like a lot of like certain places, like in Mexico, they got a big pay to play system for soccer. So like literally, like there's like a bunch of poor kids that could be like the next, you know, big star that they can't afford to play at, you know, at the youth level. You know what I'm saying? So like literally like okay, you know, I can't play soccer. Fuck it, I'm gonna try boxing.
Right.
You know?
Even if they're good like that, you still got to pay to play.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Especially in Mexico, and I just know that from because my dad used to be a seven professional back in the days, and like because he was poor, like soccer player. Yeah, him and my uncle, they made like two teams, and eventually they came to the point where like, okay, how much it's gonna cost this much for this much for that. And I'm like, I got no money. I was like, well, sorry, we can't do nothing for you.
But seems like if a player was that good, he could get some kind of sponsor or something, you know, to sponsor him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is that so those sponsors do exist, but they usually because you can pay those like those sponsors are kind of like handicapped by people out there trying to get people like a lot of favoritism. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
you know?
Understand.
Yeah. So a sponsor will bring this kid that's like really good, take him to a team, and be like, "Oh no, we're full," and like, but we'll give him a shot if you pay us $200,000. And they're like, I don't got the $200,000. I could give you 50.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, this guy's giving me 200. You get what I'm saying? But there's been exceptions in Mexico. Like there's this one soccer player. His name is Cuauhtemoc Blanco. He came from the poorest of the poor in Mexico City. It's a hood called Tepito. Like this hood is known for three things: excellent boxers, hitmen, and drug dealers. That's it. That's all you do coming out of that hood. But this guy was so good that like literally they like people they started like a GoFundMe back in those days to get him a shot. Yeah, and he ended up being like one of the best Mexican soccer players. Yeah, no, he's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Who that though?
Is he playing now? Well, that was back in the day.
Oh no, this is back in the day. This was his heyday was in the 90s. In the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he has a podcast right now. He's funny as fuck, bro. That guy's hilarious.
What's up, T? You back?
Yeah, I'm back, man. I was up in there pushing rhymes like weight. So it's tough, and you know, I got some injuries.
Sound like you've been working out.
Oh man, the biggest workout be on the Stairmaster, man. I be on that bad boy. And Stairmaster break many of people down. They don't want to get on it with me.
Wow. Yeah, we was just Kerwood came up with explaining about the rivalry between Morales and Barrera, and we got into some other stuff.
Oh, that was a hell of a rivalry. See, and that's what I'm saying. We're robbed of those types of fights because people over there, man, they're too busy spending time promotional pimping and side street cripping and whatever the fudge they call it, man. I don't know, but it's like fights could be made, and if they go a certain way, they can be rematched. And if they go a certain way, they can be tree matched. And we ain't getting none of them. So
none of them.
It's crazy that it's people in here in this era talking about they're the greatest, they're the best, and they ain't done nothing. They ain't fought nobody. And they really ain't doing numbers like they say they doing, man. And that's the crazy part about it.
Yep. Did you know Eric Morales' brother was a boxer to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just found that out today a little while ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And Tommy, you also got to realize that like certain boxing cultures, like literally, if you don't fight that, if you don't go to the smoke, they're literally like they'll damn near tar and feather you, bro. So Morales and Barrera, even if they didn't want to fight each other, they hated each other. Were like, you know, whatever. Like they had no choice; they had to fight each other. If not, they would got ran out their hometowns. They got ran out their hometowns.
Hey, to a great deal, that's why they don't rock with Canelo like that. They say that he's not a traditional Mexican fighter because they don't duck no smoke.
Well, that's different, but yeah, bro. I mean,
different era. He probably
no. It's the Canelo shit is just it's a bunch of hogwash. You know? It's a bunch of hogwash. You know, like literally, like if Canelo was ducking, he wouldn't be in the position he was at, or he is. Excuse me.
Nah, absolutely. But I'm talking about the people who are etched in stone over there. They feel a certain type of way towards Canelo, man. They feel like there's certain fights that he should have given us. And we in a day and age where certain fights don't get made, man. And it could be
any fighter, though, you know.
Yeah. Well, they did tell me, but that was early in the career. That was before like he started literally fought everyone.
I mean, for me, the only fight I need to see him or I wanted to see him in was the Benavidez fight. And at the time that I wanted to see that fight, I favored him. I don't know about this Canelo right now. I don't know if this Canelo fully puts in the work that he once put in and fully respects the people that he gets in the ring with. I think part of the thing that we saw with Bud was the fact that I don't think he had the proper respect for Bud as an opponent that he should have. And I don't think that he fully prepared for him being any types of problem. I don't think the fight was as widespread as everybody else believes it to be, but it was pretty convincing in the end, because in the end, it seemed like Canelo didn't try hard to fight anymore. It seemed like he didn't want to be up in the ring. That's what I saw. I mean, and I've never seen that but one other time in the Bivol fight. So, I mean, hopefully, I think if he comes back, that's the only fight to come back for. I mean, he ain't going to get no money fighting nobody else. Who else can he get money with?
Anybody. He can fight you. He can fight you and get paid whatever he wants.
Bud can fight me and get paid whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Bud can fight me and get paid whatever he wants.
Not Bud. Canelo.
That's what I'm saying. You got to listen to me, Coro. I know I started off on Canelo, but most of the things that I say, it be founded with what I seen and what I witnessed. Now with Bud, I ain't seen him ever be a big draw. He can't just fight anybody and get big money. And I think that it's got to be somebody that they want to see him in the ring with, or somebody they want to see in the ring. So in order for him to come back, it's going to have to be a fight that's going to commandeer a lot of fanfare and a lot of money. And I don't see, I mean, possibly possibly Boots, but I think Boots needs to make a couple of more statement fights for that to be something that they'll want to see, because there'll be people who want to see Bud lose tune into that fight. But until that point in time, he ain't got that type of fanfare, and he ain't got that type of buzz around him where people want to see him lose, or just want to be around those who want to see him. That ain't where he at. And there ain't too many fighters that have that buzz. And all of these people manufacture that, including the fight we just saw. In that fight, I saw nobody there. And the people that were there, they were comped. That was Clarissa Shields.
Oh, okay.
When they panned up and they did the interview, they finally put the lights on the crowd, and there was nobody up top.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, there was nobody up top. And that was in the moment. Like, people who really came to rock with her would not have just parted ways like that. They would have stayed to hear what she had to say. There's nobody up there. And the people that were in there, a lot of those people were comped. So, you know, we're in a fabricated era where everybody fabricates, and the only ones that do numbers, they constantly stalk on them. They constantly hate on them, and that's where we at, and that's why we ain't getting fights. Because everybody trying to protect the O and trying to fabricate a lifestyle that they not. It's too many studio boxers. It's time for them to get up in the ring and let the studio mix action and all that other stuff happen in the ring. That's what I say.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Hey, they fight once a year now. You know, it's a once a year box fight.
And that ain't even, I mean, in this time and age where you wanted to be the big brand, they should have took that time to get fights, because that's how you build your brand. Nike got big because they continue to put shoes out, not because every once in a while they dropped a Jordan. No, Jordans got like that once everybody started feeling, hey, look, this is the shoe I got to get. Then it became, we can select how many we put out and when we put it out. But until then, you got to get them shoes out there. People got to see these shoes. They got to feel these shoes. So that's what the fighters got to do. They got to think about that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Nah.
It ain't happening.
No
if it hasn't happened for as of now, I mean.
Not in this era.
You know? That's why I appreciate fighters like Oshaki, Navarrete, all the dudes that, like, literally, bro, they don't talk much. They just get in there and fight.
Get in there and do the job.
Yeah. And I knew Oshaki and Navarrete were gonna fight, bro. That's what they do.
Yeah, that fight coming up, right? Oshaki and Navarrete. Is that signed?
You said what? What'd you say? What'd you say? My bad.
Navarrete. Is that fight signed up and everything?
I like that fight. That's a good fight. That's a fight moving in the right direction. I think Oshaki is moving in the right direction.
You got to give both of them credit, man. You know, They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Unification. You know.
And not too much credit. Like, literally, in my the way I see things, I'm like, I'm not gonna give you too much credit for something that, like, that's what they pay you to do, to get in and fight. What, you want extra cookies?
But I mean, for this era, though, you know, that's what I mean, Kurt. For this era, it'd be so easy to just not fight each other and just get away with it. Ain't nobody gonna be down on them for it, you know.
Hey, I mean, I hear you on that one.
In a different direction. Go in a different direction, and wouldn't even be no whole lot of nothing said about it, you know.
I hear you.
But they going at each other like you said, that's what they supposed to do.
Yep.
You know?
That's like literally that's their job.
That's what they're supposed to do, but that's not what often happens, man. They got to get back to doing what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying, T Hill. That's why I give them a little credit for it, you know, because so many other fighters not. You know what I mean? Doing the opposite.
You know?
Yeah. Doing the exact opposite. Who y'all got in the Monster and Bam fight? If they fight.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one either yet. Tell you the truth. I just gotta see, you know.
I need to see it though. I know that.
If they actually fight, I got Bam. If they actually fight, I got Bam.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bam a little bit too young, a little bit too sly, and he a big fighter too. When he get in that ring, he much bigger than the people he get up in there, and I think he'll be about the size of Inoue. So I think that's a fight where Inoue really,
What do you think gonna win it? Decision?
You said what?
How you think he's gonna win?
Yeah, definitely a decision. But I mean, Bam got some stuff.
Yeah.
That could put him down. But if there would be a knockout, I think that it probably would be Inoue with the knockout. I think Bam just gonna style on him if he do. I think Inoue's a tough fighter, man. He's a tough fighter. That fight with Nonito the first time. Definitely. But I thought Nakatani was doing well until he started getting starstruck, and he did catch a couple of bows. But he should have put more pressure on him, and he should have applied more combinations. But you got to take the fight from Inoue, and I like the way that Bam lets his hands go.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Cass.
Yeah.
I mean, Bam has been impressive. He was impressive knocking out Estrada.
Yeah, I like that one.
How much did Estrada have left in that fight?
That question.
But still, I still got to give him a lot of props because that was the man. Like literally, Estrada is the one fighter that like literally like Canelo took most of his shine, but like literally like him and Canelo were doing the same things at the same time. Just Canelo had the more. And then Canelo was at the bigger weights too, and Estrada was at the lower weights, but dominating, beating everybody. And he's got a style that is tricky. Those tricky styles like a Lomachenko, Canizales type style, where they switch, they do that those switching those angles quick and. And like literally like get you out of position and stuff like that. But the thing about Inoue's complete fighter, man. He's, like in baseball, they got 5-tool players. That's a 5-tool boxer right there. He's got it all. Boxing skill. He can go forward, he can go backwards. I mean, like literally he's the best in the sport, in my opinion.
That's why I say it's hard to bet against him.
Yeah, so like
number one, right? They got him at the top.
Yeah, I've had him at the top for a long time. I mean.
Mm-hmm. He had him over because they had Usyk over top of him for a while. Yeah, but I mean, like if we won't like take away the pound for pound, just name the best fighters in the sport. Like, I could see how you can make. I think you can make an excellent argument. Like one could be over the other, but like if you want to go with the traditional, pound for pound BS, like he's a heavyweight. I mean, like literally, like right.
Traditionally heavyweights. Well, because everybody has a different like what they remember, but like, since earliest I can remember, like 1989, like the list was to compare the younger fighters as if they were heavyweights,
Right. Yeah.
So like literally, like why would you put a heavyweight there? I mean, so like if you want to go traditional pound for pound, but the best in the sport, intertwinable.
Anyway, it's tough. He's hard to bet against. That's all I say about that, man. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Bam gonna be a tough fight too.
Yeah, no, Bam. Yeah. It's just we haven't seen Bam with that level of competition. So that's why I favor Inoue,
Exactly.
Estrada is that level, but like he was already at the end. Like literally Estrada didn't win after that fight.
Prime Estrada.
Prime Estrada was killer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the there's two fighters that gave Bam hell. Was the one that broke his jaw, some Mexican fighter, I forget his name, which I actually thought Bam lost that fight, but it was close. So like, credit to Bam, it was a tough fight. He broke his jaw and everything. And then the second one that gave him hell was Cuadras.
Yeah, Carlos.
Do you remember that fight?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
like I remember he dropped Cuadras. And he wins the fight clear, like it was still close, but like I remember when the fight ended, like Bam literally just like he put his hands up in the air and he threw himself on the ground. You could tell he was like He was like, holy
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah,
you know?
work for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody thought like, and me including, I thought like Quadras like was you know, because it wasn't the Quadras like prime. It wasn't the Quadras that like literally left Chocolatito all like the Elephant Man. You know,
Yeah.
because Quadras was that dude too. You know, Quadras,
Yeah.
Rungvisai, all those dudes, man. Like that. That was like I think there was
Yeah,
the
Rungvisai.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, he was
Man.
a monster too.
And they all fought each other too. That was great.
They all fought each other.
No,
All of them. Yep. Yeah. Rungvisai, one of the best fighters to come out of Thailand, I think.
yeah, I think so. And that's saying something. There's a lot of Thai fighters are great.
Yeah, on right, especially down there in those
Yep.
lower weight classes, man. That's where they at. They rule down there.
And do you remember Galaxy? Kasai Galaxy or whatever? Yeah, that guy was great.
Yeah.
I
I might have him over Rungvisai.
Wonkan Jam, he was Thai too.
Yeah.
That guy was
Yeah.
that guy was like
From over there.
7 years under 7 years like title defenses, champion for 7 years or something like that.
Yeah. I just read how to pronounce his name. Like last year.
Wonkan Jam. Wonkan
He had
Jam.
a long first name too.
Yeah, a Punkasek. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but them
Yeah.
Thai fighters are tough, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, there's a Thai fighter that did what Lomachenko tried to do.
What was that?
You know, Lomachenko tried to become the champion with the least
yeah.
fights, but he lost
Yeah, it was
to
a Thai fighter that did that.
a Thai fighter actually did that. Like he was like 3-0 and he won the championship.
I just talked about him.
And he was a kickboxer. He came from kickboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's why I try to tell people that like what Rico Verhoeven did with Usyk is not something that's like, oh my God, like how did he do it? Like there's a long lineage of kickboxers that come to boxing and become champions.
Yeah, they come to boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not a lot. Like I wouldn't say. I mean, I think Wonkan Jam was a kickboxer too. I think he's the one that's like the most like heralded. You know, he had like an excellent boxing career. But then you got like dudes that just came up here and like Caleb Plant was a kickboxer. The Klitschko's were kickboxers. Troy Dorsey was a kickboxer. Algieri was a kickboxer. So it's not without precedent. Is what I'm trying to say.
I didn't know that about the Klitschko as well.
Yeah. They're both. They started in kickboxing.
Okay.
I think Vitaly was a kickboxing champion.
Really?
I think, but I do know they both were kickboxers.
Okay.
Did you hear about Klitschko's ex-wife? Poor chick.
What happened with her?
She, I think, last time I checked, I don't know if any updates came out. She OD'd.
What? No, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
she was an actress.
Yeah, what was her name? Hetty Petitier.
Hey, yes, right here. Yeah, she died yesterday or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, poor chick. She was in Remember the Titans, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she OD'd and shit. Left the daughter with Klitschko's daughter. Sucks, man.
Yeah.
Waste
This
of life,
just
bro. Yeah, it happened yesterday or a couple days ago.
Wow.
Found her unresponsive in her house or something like that.
It was his ex-wife, though, right?
Yeah, ex-wife. Yeah. I actually don't know if they got married or not, but they definitely were together for a while and they had a kid together.
Yeah.
Yeah. She actually lives in Ukraine with Vladimir because she's been dealing with like substance issues. So she while she was like in treatment and shit, like he kept custody.
Okay. Wow. Man.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Young, man. It's like it sucks, man.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of babies dying, you know.
Have all that unlimited, all that money and everything, and that's a dangerous combination. For anybody being addicted, but if they have money, that's a dangerous combination right there.
Yeah, that's the thing about addiction. It's like it doesn't matter if you're rich, no matter if you're poor, white, black, orange, pink, blue, Muslim, Christian, Jew. Yeah, that shit'll take you.
Yeah.
We all created equal under drugs, bro.
Don't take no prisoners. That's
No, man. It doesn't, man. Yeah, but it sucks, man. God rest your soul, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, who else is fighting other than Rolly and Tio? Is there any like good fights on that card?
I don't really know. I was looking at
Your boy,
Oh, I got it.
Yoeli Hernandez is on the card. Antonio Russell is on. Antoine Russell is on that card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio, man.
Yeah, and then I forgot there's another fighter on that card too. So they got some fireworks on that card. Hopefully we'll get some good shots, some good fights. I think that we should be able to be entertained by these fights. Some top prospects. We got to get them.
Tell me, but I hope I'm wrong.
I went somewhere?
I'm sorry?
You said what?
No, I said I disagree with you, but I hope I'm wrong. I don't rate Yoeli and Gary Antonio.
No, not Antonio. Antoine.
Gary Antonio's fighting Gary Antonio.
Nah, it's Antoine Russell. Is it Antonio?
Yeah, it's the featherweight, right?
No, it's the 141.
Nah, this one's Gary Antonio, but let me double check that.
But I got that name for Sunset Mansour, however you pronounce it. The top fighter you
Pambong Lang Tek Wong Gong. Yeah, it's a tough one, brother. It's definitely a tough one. His last name I can pronounce, Wong Kong Han.
That's him. Yeah, I was just looking at it. I was just talking about him the other day.
Yeah, man, that guy was great, bro. Like I watched his entire career, man. That fighter was great, man. It was good.
And Roman's I used to like him too.
Yeah, Roman's fight was really good too. He came out of nowhere, like nobody knew who he was until he knocked out Chocolatito.
Yeah, it was his coming out party there.
Spoiled the party, and Coronas I beat Estrada too.
You know, Romicide was no joke.
Nah, man.
At all.
He got wins over the two best, the two other best in that division. You know, so now he won no joke.
All fight each other, man.
Yeah.
In the mix, remember?
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing about those weights. Like they got no choice.
Yeah.
Like they normally don't make a lot of money, so to earn a living, they gotta fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I was correct. It's Gary Antonio, T Hill.
Yeah, I thought it was Antonio too.
Yeah. He's okay, but like, he's not as good as his brothers. He's not as good as his brothers.
What is that? 126 per?
It is super bantam, so 118.
Oh, super
or 122.
Yeah.
He only has one loss, but like that one loss, like literally, like he got his ass beat. I mean, the guy that beat him was really good, but I mean, Gary's like he's not as good as his brothers. But he's like a lot horrible.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting a guy by the name of Santillan out of the Dominican Republic.
Never heard of him.
I haven't heard. He sounds familiar. Let me see if I've ever seen him fight.
I have to take a look at that later on.
Okay, so he lost. Okay, that's where I remember him. He fought the kickboxer that's see, that's another example. Nishikawa Tenshin.
Yeah, he was a kickboxer too.
Yeah, he just knocked out Estrada.
He's Japanese or something, man.
No, yeah, he's Japanese, correct. Like I remember the first time I heard him is when Floyd beat the crap out of him in his first fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it wasn't even his first fight. It was an exhibition, but Floyd still beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
But yeah, now he looks like he might be something. He's good. He's a good boxer.
Yeah, because he wasn't even pro yet when Floyd.
No, with Floyd. No, he wasn't. Like, yeah.
He went on and
like
pro.
Like Nishikawa, like people think like Inoue is like the guy there. Nishikawa is like the star over there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people sleep on Japan. Like you think
no.
like Japan got kickboxers, Japan got boxers, Japan got baseball. So like literally like I don't think Inoue's been the biggest star in this country yet.
Japan go back a ways in boxing.
Yeah.
Remember the fighting Harada?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do.
Masahiko Harada fighting Harada.
You got the brothers, the crazy brothers. What's their name? There were two brothers that were nuts.
I can't think of them.
I know their names. Like literally, the one fighter, Nishioka, I believe was his name.
Yeah,
like
Nishioka.
They had like a little rivalry, and I remember even the dads. What's her name?
I didn't know he had a brother.
Angelo Leo just fought one of the family members.
I remember
I'll tell you right now.
I remember Nishioka though.
Yeah, but these guys were like rock stars. Like they were like rock stars. Like I think the dad got banned at one point for smoking weed or something like that, because Japan is super strict with that type of shit.
Oh yeah.
Like literally just for smoking weed, they banned them for life, bro. These guys are nuts. Like weed, it's just weed. It's like relax.
Wow.
But yeah, you know the Japanese are all about honor and discipline and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, they come from that samurai shit where they dishonor their family and they fucking put a blade in their bellies.
Yeah.
Harikari or something like that. Harokari, or I forgot what they call it.
Yeah, fighting Harada is one of the.
Fighting for Harada. Yeah, I remember him. Got Nishioka, Yamanaka. Then you got Inoue, Ioka. He was good, but I mean, really overhyped in my opinion. But you know,
his uncle fought too, didn't he? I can't think of his name.
I don't know. You know the guy that promotes Inoue?
Yeah.
Ohashi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a boxer as well. Like he
yeah, no.
He fought like Ricardo Lopez and those dudes back in those days.
Yeah, I remember him. Oh. Yeah, he opened up a gym over there. They had gyms that you get in a gym, you like a lifetime member. That's how they do it in that part of the world. Like the what you would call it? What's his name? The Thais do that too. Like Sorungasai, that's not even his real name. That's the name of his gym. His real name is Wisik Wangkak or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, like that's how, like there's these other Thai fighters there's this one that's always sticks in my head. His name was 3K Battery. He was pretty good, but that wasn't his real name. It's just a lot of those Thai fighters, they take the name of as their name that they show on who they're like their professional name. They take the name of their gyms.
There's two brothers right now. I think Freshmart, CP Freshmart, and another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those aren't their names. Those are their names of their gyms. Yeah. I didn't know that. I got put on game 20 years ago. I'm like, those are weird names. You know, I always used to say that, and then I remember reading an article.
Yeah, they fight right
now. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You're down around 108, something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean those smaller weights. Japanese, Thai, Mexican, Filipino. Those are the kings of those divisions.
Control them down there, man. Not too many Americans at all. Carbajal was down there.
Yeah, Carbajal. The guy from Baltimore. Excellent fighter, man. We were talking about him the other day. Like he's literally badass fighter.
Too sharp. Remember Mark?
Yeah, too sharp. Too sharp, man. He was down there. That was my guy too, bro. Too sharp was that. Mark Johnson. There you go. Mark Johnson was that dude, bro.
What are you talking about, though?
Mark Johnson, man.
Was he from? Is he from Baltimore?
He's from Baltimore.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the one
No,
you're
he's free.
looking for then, right? Too Sharp.
Yeah, Too Sharp. Yeah. Mark Johnson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from Baltimore. Yeah. No, like literally, like he's like one of the legends down there. Like he ruled. He ruled when he was there, man.
Not too many Western countries at all. Sonny Edwards he went down. Sonny Edwards was like at 112 when he.
Sonny Edwards? I have no idea, but I think Sonny sucks. So.
Yeah, he's
Goodbye.
retired. Yeah.
Don't come back.
Man, retired.
I was never a fan. I'm a fan of his brother, Charlie. I think Charlie. I've always liked Charlie.
Oh yeah, remember Charlie?
Yeah,
Charlie
I like
Edwards?
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sonny, yeah, something happened. I don't think they're related, bro. I think they just say they're related.
Sonny and Charlie, you don't think?
Yeah, no, I'm talking shit. But you know.
I got to say one thing about those two guys, bro. Like Sonny Edwards and Charlie Edwards, bro. He is his brother, but he doesn't really get along with him. They didn't grow up in the same environment, so they kind of like Sonny Edwards and Charlie Edwards are related. Like it's his brother, but they don't really get along, bro.
But they are
Is this my buddy Pigeon?
That's me, bro. That's me, my brother.
Shit.
That's me.
I knew that voice sounded familiar, but you sound really your voice sounds really crackly. But what up, Pigeon man? I hope everything's good.
Yeah. I'm here, bro. I'm here. Yeah. I'm just saying, bro. It's like I just want to say one thing, bro. I think Atama, we need to see how much he can last over 8 rounds, bro. We need to know what's gonna go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. If he's gonna last over 8 rounds, bro, this is the key, bro. If he lasts over 8 rounds, then he might be the new Tyson, bro. He might be the new Tyson, but he needs to go over 8 rounds, bro.
You think this next guy getting made? Damn, I can't think of the guy's name.
Who, bro? Hergovich?
He's fighting.
Hergovich.
Yeah, Hergovich.
Yeah, I think.
Hergovich.
Yeah. I think Atama will beat Hergovich, but I don't think it's the epitome of what we're gonna see, bro. I just gotta say one thing about him, bro. If he keeps blowing people out, fair enough, but I need to see something when he's under pressure, bro. I think he will beat Hergovich. I think he will easily beat Hergovich, but is he the next Mike Tyson, the next Evander Holyfield? I'm not sure, bro. Hope I'm wrong, bro. Hope I'm wrong.
That's how they're promoting him. That's how they're promoting him. So, but I mean, this is a good step up.
Yeah. Listen to this, Pudo. Listen to this, Pudo.
What's up?
We're gonna talk Shannon Briggs, bro. Now Shannon Briggs was nearly 50-0. Shannon Briggs was nearly 50-0, yeah. WBO champ, big man champ, and everybody's forgotten about Shannon Briggs.
Shannon the Cannon, bro. Don't ever be forgotten, bro.
Shannon Briggs is levels above Wilder and all these other guys, bro. Even
I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna put it out there, bro.
He was hilarious too. I used to troll Vladimir. That shit was classic.
Bro, let's keep it a buck. I think Shannon Briggs would have knocked Fury out in Fury's prime, bro. Did you see that? I do, yeah. He would have killed AJ. Did you see Briggs attack Lewis in the first 3 rounds of that fight? Lewis was holding on for fucking dear life, bro.
That's a fact.
Lewis was in trouble, and I'm not on about small trouble. Lewis was in big trouble.
Man,
Do you know what Lewis said? He said Shannon Briggs is the hardest fight he ever had.
Yeah, I mean,
he said that.
I believe him.
And like everybody's going on about all this modern boxing. Listen, Shannon Briggs was the end of a dying art. He was the last era of the eras.
Yeah.
He was kind of I kind of think Shannon Briggs was he was kind of the Oliver McCall of the Gen Zs or the millennials. I don't know where he comes from, but he was kind of like the modern day Oliver McCall. And I'm just gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna put it right out there on Kaz's channel. I'm gonna put it out on Kaz's channel. I really appreciate you having me on here. Really appreciate you having me here, bro. Like, you're a lovely individual, and I'm gonna put this out there, bro. Listen to this, bro. This is gonna be some groundbreaking news. I think in 2020, I think in 2026, I think Shannon McCann would have been undisputed, bro. 100%. Oh yeah. I also think people like Tommy Morrison, Michael Mora. Well, not Mora. I could probably pick 7 fighters from the 90s and be undisputed in this era, man. 100 times. I just think this era, so it's not weak. I'm not calling these men weak. I don't want to get punched by Anthony Joshua or any of these guys. I'm not calling them weak. I just think they're lacking the skills of the past. And these guys had, if you speak to like Bruce Gaston, that these guys had skills, that they had absolute skills when it comes to like technical ability. And I don't think that, I'm not seeing anything coming through, really.
You think the trainers was a lot better back then too? Would that have something to do with it? The training?
Yeah, I do. Like Dubas, Dundees, all these guys were like amazing individuals. It's, you know, you could mention about 20 or 30 of them, couldn't you? Even go back to like some of the smaller trainers that were about Philadelphia back then. Like, even you got to look at like Bernard Hopkins' career. People don't really know like the guys who trained him when he was early on in his career, but he's a legend in Philadelphia. It's like, and nobody really discusses it. Like, I just think in terms of trainers, it's got weak, really. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but that's my opinion, man.
Yeah. What's happening?
No, Carmen wants to air, but she can wait.
Oh, you turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm back. Yeah. A lot of more fighters became trainers back in the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think in terms of modern land is not really the same as like people that existed in the past. Really, this is a very, very different environment. Like you could name a million boxers off the top of your head that had trainers back then, which were training other people. They were doing it. Oh yeah,
They don't fight enough. You can't get to know them. You see them like once a year, you know? Back them days, you see fighters at least 3-4 times a year back in them days. And the further you go back, the more they fought, you know? But now, some of them don't even fight once a year. You got a few that might get a couple in a year, but not many. Not many. That's the problem. Everybody left me. Okay, I'm gonna Miss Cass. Just look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here too. We're gonna have Willie Pep Friday though. The Will o' the Wisp, life and career of Willie Pep, the Will o' the Wisp. Thomas Hill, Puro, and Pigeon on the panel. Appreciate those guys coming up with great boxing talk. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Everybody have a great. If it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Story and bringing you all that boxing history. Everybody have a great afternoon.